What happened to my camera? Hey, everybody. Hang on a second. Let's see if this works. Up, up. Okay, cool. Yeah, hi, everybody. So today is launch day. I've not actually launched this yet, but I don't think it should be too bad. I spent a long time, well, not a long time, but I spent some time yesterday figuring out how I'll launch it. So it should be pretty easy to set up. So what's the today command? Launch day for checkpoint number 1. This represents about a month of work on Skeleseller. It's still a very early alpha. Play it here. Please, please, please provide feedback if you try it out. There's a button directly in the game for it. Double notification. Oh no. I'm going to delete one of those. I made some changes. How do I delete this? There we go. Yeah, I made some changes to the bot, but I guess the double notification thing is still happening. So I should probably make some other changes. The bot still sometimes double or triple notifies. Okay, let's launch the game. And then I need to find someone who's got a Mac to test the download of it, because I think there are special instructions for that. I don't think they're very tough. I just want to add them to the list. So at some point I got to remember to do that. Okay, export all new builds and upload them all. Let's make sure the game's in good state here. I don't think I have any outstanding changes. No, yeah. I made a bunch of changes yesterday. I showed the game to my wife. She played for about half an hour. She gave some really good feedback. One of the things that's always surprising when you watch someone play a game that you've been working on is the assumptions that you make that you've forgotten that you've made. So things like, what are these? They're customers, but it's not obvious at first. And yeah. All right. I think this is looking good. You just make the town environment for the launch. It's okay. I had to make sure I stopped by for this and before we go off on vacation. Yeah, hey Casey, thank you very much for the resub. Yeah, we're just about to export the builds and then launch. So export all, release. I've never done all of these at once, and I hope this works. I don't see Windows here yet. I mean, I know Windows is at the upper left, but like, is it just making the Mac version right now? Well, anyway, let's find out. Yeah, now it's doing Windows. Okay, yeah, it does it one at a time, I guess. This process is very easy, and then uploading it shouldn't be too bad. Could you explain what Project IDX is and essentially why should we care? So my understanding is Project IDX is a web-based editor that's going to have a lot of Google smarts in it, like AI. And the why should we care? I think it's one of those things where it's like, if you have a development environment that works, then you probably don't need to change anything. If their AI is fantastically amazing, then maybe you want to try it out for that reason. But otherwise, I think it's a convenient way of developing from pretty much any machine. So you set up an environment on the cloud and then you want to use it from somewhere else. Okay, cool. Go use your really sucky laptop and it'll still work great. And use your super powerful computer and it'll still work great. I think that's the short answer. How do you want feedback to be submitted? There's a button right in the game. And let me know whatever it is you want. So here's what the form looks like. And like I said, you can get to this through the game. There are some required questions. They're all pretty easy. So I had fun playing the game. How'd you find out about this? Most of you are going to say through Adam because you're here. Hey, two dorks. Where would you want to play this game? This is a question just for research. I'm not planning on making a mobile version, but if a lot of people are like, you know what, this fits so well on mobile, I'd love to play this, then cool. Yeah, definitely answer that. This is also for research. Which other game most closely resembles this? What genres do you like? And then this, fill in whatever you want here. So this is a long answer section. You can fill in nitpicks, improvements, things you liked, your favorite animal, whatever you feel like writing in here. And I wrote that if we have questions, could you include your email address? Which means I won't be able to look at these on stream exactly. But yeah, that's it. I like turtles. Yeah, so let me know if you like turtles. That's really the most important feedback. In fact, that's all we care about. All right, so now let's see where these go. And did we upload or did we get them all done correctly? So date is Friday, May 17th. Looks good.
Whoops.
And then get info on this one. Friday, May 17th. I'm just making sure they all exported. And then what is this? Is this from earlier? Yeah, I think I can just delete this one. All right, let's go upload them. I wrote some notes on how to do this here. So I just need to run this. Yeah, how'd you hear about the game turtles? Just write turtles in every single section. All right, we run this from home downloads and then the Butler version here. Yeah. Okay, I think this should just work. And it should be pretty fast. Okay, let's go check it out. Should be online, and I just need to make this page visible. So public, but configure so that it's unlisted. Yeah, I don't want random people finding the game. Oh, download and install instructions. Yeah, so does anyone have a Mac here and wants to download this game? Sorry, just making sure I read everything else. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna save this. Okay, so the today command has the link to this. You should be able to access this. Let's see. Yeah, the page looks pretty blank. Should probably customize the look of this. No, that's fine, Jin. Yeah, could try on a Mac for you. Yeah, so Mudkip, if you don't mind, can you just try downloading the Mac version and running it? You don't even need to play on the Mac. I just want to see what does it take to launch it. And I think I've got to include instructions on how to get past Gatekeeper. It's not signed and notarized. Maybe, I should write that here. The app isn't signed or notarized on Mac. So you'll get a message about it being blocked by, what's it called? Gatekeeper? Yeah, I think it's Gatekeeper. Whoops. Yeah. Yeah, and I need to write a note about how you fix this, of course. Running on Linux? Okay, awesome. Yeah, because that's the one thing I didn't test on. I tested it on Windows. Yeah, well, I'm excited. I just mentioned this earlier, but I ran the game by my wife and she played it. She gave some feedback. And I think a few of the things that she gave feedback on are things that are going to be common themes. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone else says too. And I think we need to do some planning today. Hey, Zanis. Yeah, I think we need to do some planning. So look through feedback. Make sure not to show this on screen since I asked for email addresses. Yeah, it's too bad about that. Well, I mean, I can copy paste it, but I need to make sure to copy paste it without the email address. What's my wife's level of gaming? She is a casual gamer, and I think so. She did say she had fun playing this, and she did not have fun playing Idle Ascendance. Idle Ascendance was not a fun game for her, and then this game ended up being fun. And she said that the town mechanic really helped out quite a lot. It made her more interested. And she also said she'd be really interested in quests when they're there because I was showing her a debug build and so it said quest available. And she's like, what's that? And I'm like, I should have disabled that. And then I told her what it was at the end of everything. And she's like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. I'd like to have that. She mentioned some other feedback that I'm not going to share yet because I don't want to bias people who play the game. But I think it was pretty good. And from her feedback, I made 4 more commits last night and I addressed some of the easiest concerns basically. You opened it on Mac just by command clicking? Oh, really? Huh. Also just, yeah. That's weird. Oh, but then it popped up a thing saying, no, wait, no, that happens even for, Huh. Okay, yeah. I guess we'll just delete this thing then. Command double click and then you can open it. What does that do? Yeah, what happens when you command double click something on Mac? Huh. Yeah. Well, I guess if getting a malicious software warning. Yeah. Can you take a picture of that, Mudkip? Oh, it lets you ignore that warning. I see. Hey, Range. Yeah, Mudkip, if you could take a picture, that would be great. And then let me know, is it obvious how you get past it? To bypass this, command plus double click the application when you open it. Okay, yeah, I'll put that there. I think that'll be good. And thank you, Quickie Joe. How am I doing? I'm doing well. I have just launched Skeleseller checkpoint number 1. You can find out more there, but it is playable. There are download buttons here for all 3 major platforms. There goes my productivity. Well, the amount of gameplay that exists in this is probably on the order of like 10 to 30 minutes. So I don't think it'll take too long. Seems you have to command right click, press open. Okay. Yeah. I guess as long as people know how to figure this out. That's this command double click the application when you open it. Or command plus right click it and go to open. Okay, cool. Hey, vibing guy. Yeah, so like I just said, feel free everyone to go and download it. The link doesn't load for you. Anyone else have that issue? Can you try in an incognito window maybe? Oh, did I just break it? Oh, it's not loading for me either now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is all of itch down? I know there have been some issues. Yeah, I think all of itch might be down. Better ping leaf. I think itch may be down. Oh, wait, no. Okay. Got some reports from viewers and saw a 10-second loading time right now. Okay. Think it's just heavy load issues. Yeah, yeah. I know Leaf has been struggling with a couple of issues that have been happening. Okay, it should be loading now. Oh, well, maybe not. I can put it on a backup. Yeah, I'll put it on a backup site. Let's do that. Mac build is twice the size. Yeah, I don't know why. I just exported from Godot. Okay, where did the builds go? Skeleseller game out. Yeah, I'll put these all online here. Create new directory. Skeleseller. Although if I ever make new builds, I'd have to upload these too. All right, let's do that. Okay, there we go. Download itself worked fine once you got the page load. Yeah, I'll put this into the today command just as a backup for how to download it. Whoops. Man, I hate that. You have experience in Java? What's the difference between Java and C#? So Java was essentially the predecessor of C#. Java was made by, I think, Sun, and then now it's owned by Oracle. And it was a very popular language. And then Microsoft said, we want a popular language. And they took what Java had done well and improved on it and made C#. So that's essentially, they're very, very similar languages. Yeah, you could essentially look at it like Microsoft Java. Okay, play it here. If that link, backup download link. is https share.bot.land/Skeleseller. I think that should work. Yeah. And then is this all? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Ecom today. Yeah, once you've opened it once, yeah, you could open it however you want afterward. I think that part should be fine. By the way, Mudkip, like I said, you don't have to play on Mac, and thank you for trying that. So point to you and point to Quickie Joe. Here we go. All right, so script to do this. Let's go do that. It should go in Skeleseller somewhere. I'm not actually even sure where. Maybe like make their scripts. Tools? Yeah, tools. Tools sounds good. All right, and then I'll just cram this in here. We'll make this be, what should we call this? Upload to itch.sh. Yeah. Yep. And then the path needs to just be this. Ideally, whoops, that's not correct. It's /game. Ideally, it builds this for me as well. Yeah. Now this is gonna fail for me because I don't have Butler in my path. Upload to itch. Yeah. Butler command not found. I wonder how you check if it's in your path and have bash fail. Bash check if executable is in path. Yeah. Type -p. I guess this is just shell, but maybe this will still work. Type -p Butler. Bad option. Yeah, that might just be a bash thing. I'm in Z shell by default. Shell. I could just have this be a bash script. I guess that's okay. Yeah. Check return code of which Butler. Yeah, I was thinking about that. Let's do this. Command is in path. I don't want that ampersand there. Command is not in path. Install Butler via itch Butler. Installing. Cool. There. So now when I run this, yeah, and then run this again. Good. I'll check this in. Add script to upload builds to itch. Yep. Now I need to add this to my path, which means I need a place for this to live. Do level 1 battles only get potions? Yeah. You can use library/bin. I never actually... This exists? No. So I use USR local bin. Yeah, I'll do that. How do you explain the fact that the game is completely different from Idle Ascendants? Not completely different. All right, home downloads. Butler. So do I need how do I do this? Sent a video on Discord. Okay, thank you. Is it about opening on Mac or is it like a bug report I should look at? Here's the butler thing that we have here. Oh, home/bin. Interesting. Do I have a bin folder there? Nope. Opening. Okay, yeah, thank you. I will take a look later for sure. Is that all we need to do? Oh, I guess put the whole folder in there somewhere. Yeah, I think that's fine. We can put it in here. You've been okay, so then copy butler over to this. Actually, just open this folder. I'll just move it myself. Put this over here. And probably just call this butler. Good. And then, yeah, update my path, edit Z shell. Well, I'm hooked. Fix a blocking issue on my system. Oh, separate from the game. Yeah. I was like, this sounds very scary. Yeah. Since I've been too busy lately and unable to follow development, I keep having to remind myself to forget about Idle Ascendant's gameplay rules because it's not the same. Yeah, and Idle Ascendants, I feel, I don't know, there were, like, once the battles were automated, the gameplay is somewhat similar as long as you're in a battle. But yeah, having to move characters around is not a thing anymore. Did I fix the export problem? Yeah. So it turns out there was a bug report I filed. How do I find this? Yeah, this. So here's what was happening. Here's the short story. I did not have the right name in a particular spot. And when just clicking the play button in Godot, everything worked fine. But when exporting, Godot didn't even know that there was C#. So it tried exporting it as a GD script project. And then when it tried loading C#, it would just completely fail because it didn't know that it existed. So it turns out this was a known issue and is going to be fixed in the next version of Godot. So here's the full explanation if you want to read more, but that's pretty much it. Keep looking for your experience to level up and send money. Yeah. And some of that stuff may change eventually. I'm not sure. How did you end up in this situation with mismatched names? Did you manually rename a file? I think so, yeah. Part of it is we had a root folder and then a game folder and a test folder. So root is where we had our solution file. And then I think we had CSproj files in both game and test. And they, at some point, didn't match. Yeah. Yeah, good thing I filed the ticket. Yeah, that was for the sake of helping other people, because at least I had a workaround even before filing the ticket. But still, we got exports working. Freak Tactic, thank you very much for the resub. Preview number 2 hype. Yep. Preview number 2 in terms of Idle Ascendants as well, but number 1 in terms of Skeleseller. Again, for anyone who's just dropping in, feel free to play at one of those 2 links. Ideally, pick the itch link if it's working. And if it doesn't work, then pick the botland link. Yeah. Are there ways to quickly report little bugs, or should they all be included in the forum? If you want to just share quick bugs, you could just type them in a Twitch chat and I can keep track of them. But putting them in the forum is also fine. So whatever's easiest for you, because I don't mind either way. If it involves pictures and stuff, then probably Discord is best. Maybe I should go make a thread on Discord. Yeah, plus create thread. So Skeleseller, feedback, discussion, etc. Okay, use this thread to talk about Skeleseller. It's now playable here. Let me get the link. Very early alpha. Can you pin messages to threads? Pin? Nice, yeah. Okay. Zooming seems to affect both the town and battle cameras. I think it'd be more intuitive if ever either or. Yeah, that is something I think is good to note. So feedback collected through Twitch chat. Cool. All right, wait, I was in the middle of doing something and I don't think I finished. No, I did not finish, did I? Ensure in path. I don't even use this? Huh. I don't even use this. Okay, I guess. Ensure in path. So we want home slash bin slash butler. All right, I think that'll work. So now I should just be able to type butler. Yep, nice. So now that script will work too. I think zooming should be even more incremental too. Zoom 1 is too much. I want to zoom that I can see everything still. You say zoom, oh, like zoomed out more than this? Like you've backed up all the way and you want it out more? Oh no, sorry. One step in from default. Okay. One step in from the default. Yeah. Which is Zoom 2. Well, one of the things this is going to be a little bit contentious, I guess, but since we're using pixel art, we're only probably going to allow levels of zoom like 1x, 2x, 4x, 8x, and not something in between like 1.5x, 2.5x. Right now, it's working like this. I think every time you zoom, it's times 1.5. So it's 1.5, then it's 2.25, then it's whatever this is, then 3.375, and so on. So these are a little bit weird in terms of zoom levels. How do you run the game on Linux? It should just be that you download it, and then I don't know what exactly. I didn't test it on Linux. Yeah, download on zip, double click the Linux file. And yeah, workers are a bit dumb. That's definitely true. And I wrote a quick thing in the feedback form. If you're interested, you can check this out. But there's a list right at the top, the only link that's in there. If you expand this, you can see the differences that we have planned. And yeah, one of the things, customers and workers will be a bit smarter. It is planned to fix this. So it's hard for you to know as a player, is this just what they had designed for the game and this is how things are going to end up? Or do they have plans to fix this? So I try to keep the biggest things that we have plans to fix in this document. But you don't have to read all this before you provide feedback, and most people probably won't. Yeah. Can't start a battle because I have no adventurers, even though I've got none going on. Do you have adventurers? I love that the file is just named Linux. Yeah, some of those things are going to be changed at some point. Um, Exporting. So let's see. Cameras and zooming. Exporting. The Linux export is literally named Linux. The Windows export probably, well, all exports probably need a custom icon. And on Windows, that'll mean installing RC edit. Okay, can confirm unzipping and running Linux works. Yeah. Okay, so we've just created Linux. That's how good we are. Mudkip, can you take a screenshot and share it in the thread I just made on Discord? Because that definitely seems rough. Oh, actually, maybe you. The only thing I can think is that you might have had a battle going on and you somehow moved the camera such that it wasn't showing. Yes. Okay, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a problem for sure. Yeah. This then led to an issue where Mudkip thought they weren't in a battle when they were because the instance was out of view. That's an issue that'll be fixed by just having camera bounds. This will be fixed just by having camera bounds though. Yeah. Okay, then we need to edit this. Mac OS. The app isn't signed or notarized. So you get a message about it being blocked by Gatekeeper. And then Linux, just unzip and run the file named Linux. I'll put this in quotes because I don't know if we could use backticks. All right, save that. A little black bar to separate the cameras would be nice. Yep. That is planned. Yeah. Rename it. All exports probably need a custom icon. Yep. Okay, so we've launched. This should go without saying, but if I don't link something to you, don't trust it as a download. You know, no one's going to send you a private message and be like, hey, do you want to try out this new build? Does the game autosave? No, it does not autosave. It doesn't have any saving features yet at all. So if you want to keep your progress, you just have to keep the game open. And there are no debug functions exposed to users that you could like get money automatically or something. Now, with that said, I shared this earlier. There's probably like 10 to 30 minutes of gameplay right now, depending on how fast you want to blitz through it all. And that's it. So yeah, I felt like at this amount of gameplay, you probably shouldn't need a save yet. Like it probably wasn't super important for checkpoint number 1, but it's certainly something we have planned. Okay, so this part's done too. So what kind of feedback are you looking for? Hard to tell what's intended and what's just temporary. Yeah, the feedback form has a list here that'll tell you what is intended and what's temporary. If you expand this section, you'll see what's not there that will be there. So if there's something you see that you're like, oh, I would change this, and you don't see a note about it here, then it's definitely something worth commenting on. But you don't have to look through this list if you don't want. You can just provide any kind of feedback you want. In general, I want to see a couple of things. My goals are, is this fun for players? And I mean, that's the very first question in the feedback form that we have. And then what do you like and dislike? I think those are the biggest things. And you know, like what would you want to see in the game? These general questions. It's very entertaining for my cat. Maybe we could market it at cats. I assume balance stuff isn't really important. No, balance stuff isn't super important, but you should still comment on it. If you're like, oh, you know, it's taking too long to do X or it was too quick to do Y, that's also fine. I think any general feedback you might have as you're playing through it, it's totally fine to share. Because we did the same thing for idle ascendance, right? Where's the feedback form for that? Form, idle, there it is. Yeah, so we got a lot of responses, and the long form responses were generally very helpful to figure out what people wanted to see out of the game. And that's what led to Skeleseller. So yeah, you never know what you're going to get out of Skeleseller to lead to, you know, Skeleseller V2. I have a bunch of questions for myself, which I don't want to bias people yet, but I want to look through these at some point. And then I have some ideas and yeah. All right. Launched the first checkpoint of Skeleseller. Cool. Can we see how many? 32 downloads. Nice. Yeah. All right. Some people somehow found this through Google. Really? Skeleseller? I don't think it shows up there. Last FM. What? What? Huh. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I should put this in here as well. Also, don't trust any download links that aren't exactly that link above. No one will private message you about a new build for the game. Yeah. People stealing your videos into podcasts for Last of Them? Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I saw that was happening on YouTube, not podcast exactly, but a couple of people had stolen my videos. I got them taken down. Hey, Magician, and thanks. Yeah, it's a corn keyboard. If you want to learn more, I did a couple of videos on it. I got some information there. Yeah. So yeah, let me also kind of play the game. Although I don't really want to bias people, but I found it fun as I was playing. There's like a certain mindset you get into as you're playing a game and you're getting a little bit absorbed, and I felt that was starting to happen. And this is an early enough version of this where I feel like it's going to get better. Pretty much maxed on everything. I'm noticing you can keep buying storeroom upgrades, even though visually I'm out of space for upgrades. Also, it seems that the workers are grabbing items from random spots that visually there are no items. Ooh, okay. What platform are you on, Hip Hop? And Wally, thanks for trying it. Windows. Okay. I I explicitly did not stop you from purchasing. I actually just wrote a commit about this yesterday. When you're at max level, we disable the button, and when you're at max number of adventurers, uh, we disable that button. But not when you're at the maximum number of storerooms. Will you know who leaves the feedback? Um, no, I won't. So, and that's why the final thing that's there says if you want to include your email, you can. That way I can ask follow-up questions. But you certainly don't have to, and I'll probably be looking through it on stream anyway. Overbuying was happening for me too. You're talking about the storeroom? The storeroom specifically? Because that's something we could maybe like quick fix today. I literally I was writing a comment yesterday saying no one's gonna get 64 item displays. Oh no, the potion shop. Oh, wait. Oh, yes. That is something that I just filed a bug on yesterday. Don't allow upgrading the shop beyond 10. Don't allow upgrading the storeroom beyond 64. The part that worries me more though is workers are grabbing items from random spots that visually there are no items. I wonder, let's just grant a bunch of money here. If I just click this button a bunch of times, I wonder what's happening. Oh, no, no worries, Casey. That's totally fine. How many workers it takes to fully fill all item displays on the max potion shop? Okay, so I'm clicking this button and it's subtracting money. I wonder what it's doing. Upgrade. Upgrade is something the town handles. Upgrade storeroom. There. Get cost of next upgrade, modify money, and then invoke this. And the storeroom knows to do something based on that. I think this is just going to be a no-op, in which case it's just subtracting money for no reason. Yeah, okay. So that should have no impact. But maybe upgrading the shop has an impact. Shop. Upgrade. Add next item display. No, that also shouldn't have an impact. Yeah, that really worries me. Workers are grabbing items from random spots where there aren't items. On Windows, the only concerning part is the item grabbing part. Yeah, it's worrisome. I'm gonna upgrade this. I know you can keep clicking it, but it shouldn't do anything. 11 is the answer. All right, let's level this up a million times. Good, and then just start a bunch of battles. Could be that they are holding an item because the shop was full and it's just hard to tell they had an item before they turned around. It might be that, and I'm hoping it's that because I thought we hammered out all those bugs already. I'm going to increase the game speed and we're going to see if anything weird happens here. What is going on? So far, this looks fine. Although it'll probably be due to having multiple workers. But I just want to see, do they grab these items okay? It looks like they are. Okay, let's hire some more workers now. More workers and more items. I don't see anything unusual, but yeah. Okay, hip hop, if you can keep taking a look and see maybe if it's happening, maybe try to record it. And this is not a scientific test of this, but it's not at least something that's happening all the time. Yeah, man, the Warrior sucks. Probably be better if we did something like this. Put some points into that stuff. Oh, that's not probably gonna matter too much. Okay. Oh, we should already potentially have some feedback. Let me see. How do I... There we go. Response is 2. Okay. 2 people so far have found the game fun. Hooray. Let's keep those numbers up. Seems to be a case of a worker is carrying an item to a shop and another worker is to the shop first. Yeah, although the first worker should still be holding the item that they had originally. How are the parties chosen? Completely randomly right now. But one of the things in the final game is that you will be able to choose your parties when you enter an instance. So you might say something like Forest, and maybe it says like Max Adventurers 2. And so you'd be like, okay, I want my mage and my warrior this time, or my warrior and my cleric. Whereas right now the game's picking for you so that we don't need to add extra UI. Does continue to hold it, just means it takes another tick. Yeah. Yeah, and that's another thing that I want to have fixed at some point, which is like slightly smarter workers and customers. It just wasn't super important for checkpoint 1. It's going to be really cool when we do checkpoint 2, or even like we don't technically have to wait for fully realized checkpoints. We could have like a checkpoint 1.25 where I'm just like fix 10 bugs, try it out, see what you think. Although it's probably not super important. It'd be nice if there was a static border between the map and the battle areas. Seems kind of jank just cutting it off. Yeah, I agree with that. I'll write that down. It's very easy for me to be like, yep, this is all fine. I can handle this feedback because I know it's not the final launch, but probably when we go to do the final launch, there are going to be some issues where it's just like, we just didn't have a good answer for this. And yeah, we know that it's a problem and the game is launching with it. Hey, Atomic Man. I've had this shirt, but it might look different in the lighting or something. But yeah, today is the day that checkpoint number 1 was released. And you can all go play it. Planning on expanding the market area, more specialized shops. So that is something that is sort of up in the air. Here's what I generally think. General conclusion is the shop needs something, or like the town needs some kind of manual action. Well, probably needs. And I don't know what that is yet. So right now you have 3 shops and they have like 3 different item types and they sell the item of whatever. In the future, you'll start with just 1. So part of it will be upgrading to the point where you have 3 shops, and that in that sense you'll be expanding it. but it'll get to the point where you're currently at. There'll also be a guild to level up adventurers. There'll probably be adventurer housing so that you feel like your town is expanding. But I don't have any real plans yet to go beyond that level of expansion. Should you also post on news and Discord? Yeah, that's a good point. As promised, the playable alpha has been released. Download and try it out here. Let me get this, copy link. And please provide feedback through the send feedback button in the game if you try it out. Okay, there we go. Okay, super nitpicky. Scaling a dough is doing on the fonts is a bit odd, like it's squishing text. Yeah, I definitely know about that, and we got to figure something out with that too. What platform are you on, Josepher? I think I accidentally just opened up something I didn't mean to. I don't know what just happened. It was fun. Cool. Yeah, thanks for playing, Juan. I like the storeroom and shops, but I wish they fit in the window better. If you're expanding, though, this is fine. Yeah, I think this fits into this. Okay. See how the font is odd in places? Yes, I do see how it's odd. Part of the reason I asked is because the way that resolution is handled is different between Windows and Mac. And if you were on Mac, I would ask you to maximize the screen, but I don't think this should be a Windows problem. Yeah, this is on Windows picture. See, yeah, same maximized or not, yeah. And yeah, it's fun. Thanks, Gross. Man, this is so different from Botland. Botland I just developed and people were like, yeah, it's not quite there yet. And I'm like, well, it'll get there. But that's not the way to develop games, I think. I think there should be some fun from the get-go. Stream ping messages give me a gist of the good progress we made. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really happy that we made it to this point and as quickly as we did too. If you look at the journal entries, we started the repo on April 17th. So it's been exactly 1 month. Yeah, Apolactus. Yeah, it's been exactly a month since we started the code base. And now we have a playable checkpoint. And the rest of the schedule for this is going to be a little bit hazy. As most of you know, I'm going to be on a vacation that's somewhat long, starting on May 22nd. So I don't really plan on doing much work between now and 5 days from now. And then I'll be gone for like 3 weeks, maybe a little bit longer from the stream. So the next checkpoint, I was thinking July or August. And I want there to then be a couple of hours of gameplay. And then, yeah, just keep chugging through all the work that we have. So yeah, I'm excited about that. One of the things I'm really excited about, I think the work I'm looking forward to maybe the most is designing new classes. Because I really like the template that we have. It's a passive ability and then 2 active abilities. And the goal is to make some synergy within this tiny package of skills. I mentioned I was showing my wife the game yesterday, and one of the things she said is she's like, I want some more visualization of the battles and even skills like could there be more icons here or something like that. And I said, yep, I think that would be reasonable. At one point she said, oh, there are a lot of numbers here. And I said, this is nothing compared to other games. And I showed her just even Diablo 2, the skill calculator for that. And this isn't even all that crazy. Like, each skill tree has what, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, like 10 skills. Do they all have 10? Yeah, they all have 10. So every character has 30 skills, and all of them have multiple levels, and you had way more points you had to deal with. And that this was not as crazy as things like Path of Exile even. So I think at least the skills are understandable, and I like that. We need AAA game level cutscenes for battles. It switches to 3D rendered models of your character sprites. You watch a fireball in slow motion. Yeah, I can't wait for more classes. Yeah, and that's where I think that forming parties is going to be interesting because you'll have some dungeon where you're like, okay, I can only take three adventurers, and figuring out what you want. Maybe it's like 3 damage dealers, or maybe you do have a tank in there, or maybe you need 2 healers for one of the instances. Um, yeah, I think that'd be cool. Cinematic battles. I think it's the axe. I think it's just that because the axe is hard to see when the worker has a back turned to you. Yeah. I think the more rational movement will definitely help with that. Okay, I'll write this down. Thank you for looking into that, hip hop. I really appreciate that. Because that was worrisome. We did have a bug, by the way, originally, where workers were taking items from a place where it didn't exist. But I was pretty sure I fixed that. Stream's uptime is negative. Yeah, that's a Twitch problem. Is the number of items you get per battle random? Yeah, I'll show you how it works, although you wouldn't know this from just looking at the game. But it's very simple right now. The first instance grants you 3 to 6 potions. The next instance grants you 2 to 7 cloaks and potentially 1 axe. And then the next instance grants you 3 to 9 axes and potentially up to 2 big red potions. In the future, we might have more of a distribution here. Like maybe we say, oh, there's a 20% chance you get a potion, but most of the time you're going to get an axe. Or only pick between one of these sets of items or something. But yeah, this is just a really quick way of doing things. Okay. I really like that we have a starting point for this stuff too. All right, I was looking at the feedback really quickly. Let me continue looking. Someone said turtles. That's how they found out about Skeleseller. Where would you want to play this game? Desktop. Reminds me of Moonlighter, Idle Ascendants, Item Shopkeeper. Item Shopkeeper, what's that? I'm not sure who left that as their answer, but I don't see a game called Item Shopkeeper. Okay, well, anyway, maybe it exists. Which game genres do you like? Oh, no one actually included their email, so I guess. Oh no, never mind. Someone did include their email. I was gonna say I could just read this on screen. Yeah, I'll read this a little bit later. Then I want to make sure I don't leak anything. Do they mean shopkeep? Maybe. This game does not seem to have done all that well on Steam. Mute site. Run your own adventure shop. Oh wait, is this the game that? Is there a sequel to this? Trilogy. Yeah. I think someone mentioned Shopkeep 2 to me. Yeah. Even this is mixed. Although this is a very different style game. Yeah, thank you, Casey. I would probably just copy them into VS Code and then show them later. I'll wait until there's a little bit more of a critical mass of feedback. All right, very interesting. So one of the things I want to do, so today is, I don't think these things are totally worth quick fixing, but they are worth fixing at some point. Did I win? I think you won, yes. I was thinking about general structure for the game. So one way, and I've seen games do all sorts of things, but one way you could consider this is what if there was like a world with a town in it and you move to a new world at some point? So Xanus's picture, for example, you could say that they beat World 1. Like you maxed out everything, you're getting tons of money, and now you move to a different world where all this stuff is reset. There's a different town layout, there's like different stuff you have to do. I don't I don't think that would work exactly. I don't think it would fit in with the story either. So I'm not really leaning toward that way of doing things, but that is one way of doing things. So like you win the first world and then move to a town with different shops, different items, etc. The previous adventures are now the shopkeepers. Franchising. I guess you could have like the only way I think that different towns would probably make sense is if there was some maybe story reason for it happening, like your town was destroyed, or I don't know, you want to reach other towns and sell your items. I guess this is fine. Yeah, this would work. That's pretty reasonable. But then you would probably keep the first town and earn money from it. And I don't think I like the idea of having to swap between a bunch of different towns and see what's happening. There'd have to be some kind of micromanagement of those towns if you're going to do that. Let the town be upgradable and you pay to add new features to the town. Well, so did I explain the quest system? Because this is one of the things that I think is kind of neat. It's not in the game, but in I don't have the money. Okay, there. Yeah, so this says quest available, and then I can choose which thing I want to accept. So like find 10 axes, and then reward might be all your adventurers do more damage, or 5 and 5 potions. Your reward might be customers move faster. Something along those lines where it's like these would be permanent upgrades. So you'd pick a quest, and then a little bin would show up next to the shop. And instead of bringing an item from the storeroom down to the shop, you'd bring it to the bin and it would just get deleted. And when you do give it, the 10 axes, then you get that permanent reward. Now, with that said, that's not really upgrading your town, that's upgrading your adventurers, but it's at least another way of progressing your characters beyond just clicking the level up button. But yeah, so ideas could have multiple towns and you fully upgrade one and then move on to a more expensive area with new dungeons. Like I said, I like to just have one town. Like the sound of that quest system. Yeah, I think the quest system is really good for a couple reasons. For one, it's permanent upgrades. And two is it's a decision of whether to upgrade versus make money. But it's also the other part that I like about it is it's delayed upgrading. So now you need to go to older instances maybe to collect potions or something like that. Yeah, customers are a bottleneck. Quests to get that increase would be cool. Yeah. Your town can host one more customer, or they're more likely to purchase, or they come in with more money. If you want more initial interaction, you could let the player move items. Yeah, so that's the big question. And this is what I've been trying to figure out. Okay, let's say you allow this. So to be clear, so that we're all on the same page. Right now, the way the game works is you have an item in your storeroom, your skeleton goes and picks it up, and then it moves it to the proper shop. But what if you could just click this item and now it's on my cursor and I just click over here and now it's dropped into the shop. So I think a few things about that. One is it's a boring action. Like dragging items doesn't take a lot of thought and it's pretty mechanical. Two is if you incentivize boring actions as the best way to play, you'll frustrate your player base. But it does add a manual action, which I think could be helpful. And the incentivizing here is really not so steep. Like if you didn't click the item, your skeleton would just go grab it anyway. And sure, maybe you'd lose out on a couple items in the meantime, but you could just take it at your own pace. What are my PC specs? Check this out. That's got the answer to everything you're curious about. A millionaire who comes in and buys everything. Maybe I could add it as an idea. Mr. Moneybags. That means deleting our workers. Not deleting the workers. It would mean that you would be doing manual actions until you have enough workers, I guess. Forgot to include something. Game feels a bit too micromanagey. Not sure if that's a goal you're looking for, but it can feel a bit stressful having to start battles and manage upgrading shops, buying new workers, choosing player skills, etc. Yeah, there's still okay. I'll put this here too. There still needs to be something on the gameplay front that you're doing. Storeroom upgrades. Okay. Cameras, zooming, and layout. Okay. Zach comes by. Live coding. Thanks, Stonewall. Thanks for playing. Thanks for giving feedback. Did you already discuss shops can still be upgraded? Yes. Yeah. That is a small problem. That thankfully doesn't have any far-reaching implications. It's just a waste of money right now. But it doesn't cause any bugs in the game other than that you're wasting money. That is a bug. That will be fixed. Yep. Skeleseller release. Check this out. Workers holding items forever as some sort of human storage, part of them being dumb, that will be fixed. If you're talking about that all of the shops are full, so they have nowhere to go, that's not exactly part of them being dumb. That is part of your shop having a bottleneck. It says I don't have enough money to upgrade my storeroom, yet I have almost 2K. Can you take a picture? Because that's strange. Oh, it's fully upgraded. Okay. I see. Yeah. Yeah, the button doesn't get disabled. That I know about. Yep. Game doesn't save on close. No, there's no saving. Yeah, whoops. Sorry about that. Is it possible to level up adventurers in battle? So it's possible, of course. Well, if you're saying is it possible in the game right now? No. But could it be done as a game design? Yes. The reason why I didn't do this is because imagine you've got like a level 15 warrior and a level 15 mage or something like that. And now you get a new character. You get a level 1 rogue. Like, how do you level them up? And the way you'd probably do it, either you take the long route and you level them up the same way you did your first characters. You go through the level 1 area, the level 2 area, the level 3 area. Or you party them with a higher level character, and then right after one battle, they go to like level 4, and then level 7, and then level 9, and then level 11. And then it starts lagging to the point where now your mage maybe hits level 16, but your rogue is stuck at like 13, and you can never really close that gap. That was one of the things I just thought, would it be fun to go repeat a bunch of areas for no real rewards just to level up your characters? So that's why all of your adventurers are always the same level. I just figured if you have like 10 to 15 of them, that grinding in old zones wouldn't probably be fun. You can't hire more shoppers. No, yeah, you can't. Not all though. Oh man, what are you... Oh, you're really bottlenecked on customers. Be cool to add Discord integration so as I'm playing your game. Is that something I need to add as Discord integration? But I'll write that down. Thank you, Bizzotti. Yeah. How do I copy messages easily? Why is this so difficult? There we go. As far as I know. Oh, wait. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying, okay, yeah. Yeah, this is like random chance that this stuff happens, and at least there is a resolution state. If you waited long enough, you would see all of these items disappear. So I don't consider this to be a problem. Is my stance on that. I want to copy this from Bazzotti over here. We'll add Discord integration. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. These are the kinds of things that just wouldn't be on my radar, so I really appreciate it. Let me go back to Twitch chat now. Have you checked the debug menu? Yeah, I just take a look. At first, I did not see where the battle took place. It could be that I had issues with the zoom keys. Yeah, that is a problem. And yeah, we do need to fix that. Once you can pick the party, it'll help with uneven levels. It would, but still think about the overall problem, right? Like you start with an adventurer that's a wildly different level from your current ones. Now you have to go through this sort of tedium of raise the adventurer up. And I just don't think it would be that fun to the point where I'd just rather bypass it as a problem altogether. Do you have to sign the binary for Windows Defender? Um, Probably, which actually I did not factor this into the budget of the game. I think I had to buy a certificate for Botland, and I think that cost like $100. Oh, I didn't even think about that. So wait, what's happening right now? You try launching the game and Windows Defender has that like green screen or whatever that comes up and then says, do you want to run this anyway? Is that what you're seeing? Oh man. I'm only bummed that I have to go through this stupid process because I did not like this last time. May need to buy a signing cert. Yeah. Only scheduling one worker per job. Yeah. I think there are ways that I'll make it better for checkpoint number 2. I think I should probably write some things I definitely want to do for checkpoint number 2. Definitely fix customer and worker AI to make them smarter. Lots of feedback on that. Discord rich presence. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it'll resolve if you stop battling. Yeah. All right, I'll copy a link to this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to get a certificate. Man, I just this process was tedious last time and it cost money. I'm not complaining that you brought this up. I just forgot about it and I don't want to do it, but I have to. So yeah. Is there ever any real benefit of doing like 3 level 1 battles versus 1 level 3? Seems like it's always just do the highest level you can. In the current game, yes, there is no real benefit of doing the level 1 battles. But in the future, like I said, there's going to be a quest system. So this one says find 5 potions. It might be like find 15 potions. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'll just go spam a bunch of level 1 battles and I'll get a bunch of potions that way. And then your characters will bring them down to here. That's one way. Another way is we might have a reason in the future for you to maybe combine items or something. Like imagine if you could just drag 2 potions onto each other and it forms like a red potion that's worth $7. I don't know. That's just an idea that came to mind last night, but as a way of you kind of still having something to manually do. But yeah, as of now, there is no reason. Steam wouldn't do that for you? I don't think they do, but that's a good question. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Where did I write that down? Oh yeah, may need to buy a signing cert. Look into whether Steam would do this. Oh wait, even if Steam did it, Itch wouldn't do it. Yeah. Probably for Steam too. So addictive, loving it so far. Well, I'm really glad. Yeah. I'm glad to hear this feedback. Really, this represents a lot of work that went into this to get us to this point. And it was the mildly good feedback from Idle Ascendants that allowed us to get here, I think. I'm very happy about that. Is it still an issue if you upload to Steam? I think it would be, because with Botland, I needed to buy the signing cert, and Botland was only on Steam. No, I guess Botland was on Itch too, but Botland was a web game on Itch, and it was a downloaded game on Steam. Yeah. Even allowing the worker to put something back into the storage room would help a lot. I wanted to avoid some possible deadlock that could happen, but yeah, this will maybe be a thing. I'll write this down. People are, well, let me write it up here. this may not be an issue if you can take items from workers by clicking them. So I'm not sure how I want to do that. Why can't I scroll up? Yeah. Be a benefit to split out your heroes because the top level you can actually run a level 3 with 2 and a level 2 with 1. Ah. this is very tricky. And thank you, Goose, for resubbing. If you have fully stocked weapons and armor and empty potion shop, you should run level 1s. Maybe, I guess, because right now you can have so many workers that it makes sense to pipeline that way, but the customers will be your bottleneck then. So, yeah, this is another thing that's maybe worth considering. Yeah, I guess that's what Free Technic said too. Distributes Steam keys on itch. I'd probably rather not do that though. I'd rather just have people buy it through the platform that they prefer. Unless you have a good few upgrades, you're not item poor. Yeah. And hey, Dev, thanks. No idea about the project. Just join, download it, try to play. I'm not sure what to do. I'm here looking at the screen with stuff moving. I clicked on higher adventure, but I didn't notice any difference. Yeah, there is no difference right now. Adventurers will probably eventually have like an actual character behind them, but I just added a system yesterday that after some amount of time should show you what you need to do in text right above the town. So after I think 20 seconds, it should have popped up a thing that'll kind of get you going. But in the future, the new player experience is going to be probably drastically different. Hey, Pressel, thank you. Anyone else having weird text scaling issues when you're sizing the window, text gets wonky? Yeah, that is a problem right now. Yeah. Yep. Start a battle, earn items. And then from there, I think it should be pretty straightforward. Right now, it's maybe even a little easier to understand than it might eventually be because you use just these buttons to do everything except for upgrade the shop where you click a shopkeeper. But in the future, probably more things will be in-world, like clicking a character to look at a dialogue. So, yeah. How do I lay off workers? There's no way to do that. Is it visibly slow, Casey? Because I never actually tried having 150 workers. Got to one-off stocking the entire shop, which is pretty cool. Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, I can see. I think the game certainly has potential, and I was already pretty certain from the feedback of Idle Ascendants that people would like say that it's worth developing at the very least. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this all goes. Where do we have the thing about fonts? Yeah, so we'll put this here for text. Font/text. Yeah, need to figure out the font issues, definitely. Fix font issues. Customer worker AI. Any feedback we get a lot is definitely the stuff we got to fix. And I've said this before, but anytime you release any software, like you have a V1 of something, then you're going to get feedback from it. If you don't address that feedback, you're just going to get the same feedback again for V2. So we've got to address at least the most common stuff. And I mean, we have a couple months to do it. We've got other things I want to do too. I want battles to look more visual than they are. Right now, there's just damage numbers appearing. And I want it to show like slash effects and fireballs and explosions and lightning bolts and stuff. I'd like a worker counter. That could be needed if you eventually do need tons and tons of workers. So I'll write it down. Gameplay. So there's this. Yeah. Just, yeah, chaotic ants. Yeah. Zooming in, I notice there's a part at the bottom that's not rendering. I only have 2/3 of the screen. That is because the bottom is used for battles. But eventually, yeah, that should be more obvious that it's used for battles. There should be some placeholder. Yeah. Where do we leave feedback? Either in Twitch chat or in the game, there is a send feedback button, provide feedback. This will just open up a form. By the way, I only tested this on Mac. On Windows and Linux, does this button open the browser for you? Because it should. But yeah, it does. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, good. Because I only just wrote that yesterday. I wrote this URL opener thing, and it does it starts a process and then does this. That's the only thing we use it for is the Google form, though. Can we leave over the top feedback? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Any feedback you've got, it's good feedback. So yeah, some things I want to do today. So the schedule for me is going to be keep collecting feedback, look through my questions, and then plan some town changes and see how people feel. I wrote so much in the last point of the feedback form. Now I feel bad. You shouldn't feel bad about that. Definitely do not feel bad. How do they prioritize what to buy? Good old random number generator. There is a wander function, and after 2 seconds, this is why everyone is acting dumb in the game, by the way, is this was not, there's no smarts here. It's just literally wait 2 seconds and then try to buy an item. And the way that buying an item works is, where is it? Acquire target. We call this function. Get all of the displays and then just get a random one of them. So yeah, they don't base it on, well, they get the affordable ones, I guess. They only base it on do they have enough money, and then they just get a random one. So it's not what's closest. It's not what's the most expensive. And I'm not sure how much customers are going to change in that sense. Customers might have some semi-random behavior where they're like, I only want potions. So they just ignore axes even if they have enough money. That might be the case in the future. I'd say when opening a menu and a new one after that, either close the old window or something like that. What windows are you talking about at Pretzel that you want them to be closed? Yeah, they wait 2 seconds. It's very well thought out purchasing. I think this is saying a lot about society. If 2 seconds is enough to avoid buyer's remorse. Maybe that's their version of sleep on it. All right, look through my own questions and then plan some town changes and see how people feel. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, what? Do I have 2 instances of Twitch chat open? Oh, I do. I don't know where that other window came from. If I open a shop upgrade and then other shop, both menus stay on the screen. Yep, gotcha. Yeah. Battle 1 text doubles up. Still trying to recreate reliably. Let me look from a code perspective and see if there's anything. Battle ended. Because battle ended should only be called from here. Battle ended. We invoke it from this. Could this be called? Maybe. Let me see. On battle or death event handler. Could 2 things die at once? Yes, maybe. Yeah. Okay, I think I could think of a case where this happens, Zaphoid. It might be that your warrior is being killed at the same time that it counterattacks, which also shouldn't be possible. Okay, so let me put this in here. This is a UI thing. Okay, and then I'm pretty sure you're right about this. You don't think that's the case? They seem to have a load of health left. Okay, well, I can still look into it. Yeah, UI thing. I don't think the battle code stops this from happening. Zaphoid said this probably isn't the case, but I think a warrior can counterattack when it dies, which is a bug in itself, and it can kill the enemy, which would trigger the battle ending twice. Yeah. What happens when the buyers get down to 0? They just disappear and new ones come in. That's eventually not going to be the case. Instead of disappearing, they'll just walk away or leave or something. I feel like level 3 battles are a lot slower than the others, maybe just due to being level capped. It's just due to random data being put in, essentially. So the level 1 dungeon has 1 enemy with 100 life. The level 2 dungeon has 2 enemies with 200 life. And the level 3 one has 4 enemies with 400 life. So in each case, they're getting twice as beefy, I guess. You can hover over the skill name for a main tip. You're talking about this stuff? Because, yeah, we need to make that clear. Yeah. Sorry about that. They don't look like they're hoverable, but yeah, they are. Yeah, that was not clear like an hour in. Yeah, I know. I know. They don't look like buttons, so there's no reason to want to hover over them. And unless you accidentally do it, then you wouldn't realize, I guess. Okay, I want to look through my questions now and see what I wanted to ask myself. A lot of these were written a long time ago. So some maybe we can answer and some maybe we can't. Some sort of pay to reset skill mechanics at some point. I don't plan on that being paid, but I do plan on it being obvious that it's already in the game. So if you left click, it adds a point, and if you right click, it removes a point. So at some point, the game should tell you that, but it doesn't. So you might not have even known. Need to make it clear that you can right click to remove skill points. You can respec. Yeah, you can respec. Yeah, I actually had some text in there just this morning or last night saying you can right click to remove points. And I'm like, this is probably too verbose. I don't want to confuse people. Yeah. Does the page even mention that? It doesn't. I should probably at least write it in there. Not that anyone's probably gonna ever read this. You can right click to remove skill points for free. Okay, save. So what are some of the questions I had? Is having 3 battles too much going on at once? Would it be better to only have 2 at a time? I think an important consideration is that with more battles, it's hard to focus on any individual one. Maybe limiting to 2 is a good idea. And with fewer battles, the entire party or ability system may need to be changed. It was designed around the idea of having 3 at once, so you needed hybrid classes. But if we only had 1 battle, then it's fine to just have 2 static abilities. Okay, we changed that. Had my downhills with clicker heroes. Well, this isn't intended to ever be an infinite game. I'm guessing something like clicker heroes is like play over the course of many, many weeks. What I'm aiming for is something like 5 to 10 hours of fun gameplay. And right now we have like 10 to 30 minutes maybe. And people who want to max everything out, if you can even say you're maxing everything out, is maybe taking them 60 minutes. So yeah, we'll add more content, we'll have more things to do. But I don't think it's going to get into the like 100-hour territory. And that's not really a goal. Just one combat twice. Yeah, I'll need to look into that. It happens whenever. Oh, you know what it might be? Oh, I think I know what it is. I think it's the mage killing 2 enemies at once. Yeah, I bet that's it. With lightning zaps. They're the only class that can do it, which is why it's rare. Yeah, that's almost certainly it. I bet it's lightning zaps killing 2 enemies at once. It's the only other way in the game that 2 things can die at a time. Right? They're only 9 abilities. The rogue has nothing that deals damage to multiple and no counterattack, so that can't do it. The mage with fireball can't do it, but with lightning zaps could. And the warrior technically could die and counterattack at the same time, maybe? Actually, I'm not even sure that's possible. I think it's only the mage. How does counterattack work? Well, it doesn't check if you're alive. Yeah, it doesn't check if you're alive. Probably should. Yeah. Thought it was due to the timing of two battles happening at the same time. I guess I could just test this because I could just make lightning zaps do infinite damage. So 100 bolts for 20 times the damage they're doing, or whatever that was. No, it's more than 20 times, like 100 times. Let's try that out. What was the code for the battle rewards for level 3 again? I'll check in a sec. All instance data. You get 3 to 9 axes and 0 to 2 big red potions. Okay, so the way we test this is we need to grant money so that we can get to the level 2 battles, which means we need to get through the level 1 battle, but that should happen immediately because it does infinite damage now. There it goes. And then this should make it show up twice. I don't think it did. Upgrade the shop a bunch, or upgrade the storeroom a bunch. We could tell just by how many items are being added. There's 5 items. 2, 7. Okay, technically that's inconclusive. Let's try again. 2, 3, 4, 5 again, I think. Max game speed, start level 3 battle. Oh, the max game speed part could be doing it. Hard to tell. Yeah, I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll fix it. I think I know what's causing it. We're close enough. Those are supposed to be cloaks, yeah. I guess when you zoom in, it's a little bit more obvious. Could be the same enemy dying twice due to a multi-hit attack. I don't think it'd be the same enemy dying twice. I think it'd be multiple enemies, but I'm not sure. Oh, it is. It happened in a level 1 battle. Interesting. It can happen in a level 1 battle. Yeah, very interesting. I guess because, yeah, I think that's it then. It must be that. Battle system has a deal damage function. Deal damage. Calls take damage. Take damage, checks is dead. And then, yeah. Yeah, I think it probably could be that. And it's probably the mage. Because the mage only checks if a target is dead originally, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's probably that. Multiple times. Yeah. Yeah, there's no saving in the game yet. Not being able to max out 2 abilities on my adventurer hurts. Yeah. I arbitrarily picked level 10 as the maximum level for now, which means you get 9 skill points. But I think in the future, the max level is probably going to be 20 or maybe 21, just to give you 20 skill points. Natchanax, thanks for resubbing. Welcome back. All right, so let's pursue some of these. Oh, bug maybe? Are you talking about the text getting cut off? Because yeah, that's something we're gonna fix. Oh, I think it's not actually an S that's showing up. Yeah, it's just the line is so faint, but there is that line, but that's still a text issue. And Josepher, thank you too for resubbing. Okay, so let's chime in on some of these things. So yeah, would having 3 battles be too much? And after playing, I've got to say I don't think it is, but the battles aren't very large yet. So if I grant a bunch of money, hire multiple adventurers, and click 3 battles, I think this is fine. And I think if we had 4 adventurers per battle, it might be a lot. It is a bug, yeah. Study, yeah. It's not actually giving you more room. I did 2 battles for a while and it was fine. Well, there's a very big difference between 1 battle, 2 battles, and 3 battles. And 1 is for sure definitely fine. 2 is almost certainly fine. And then 3 I don't know about. So that's why I'm wondering, like, this is a 50% increase. At some point it would be too much, right? Like 99 would be way too much. So where's the cutoff? And we only have screen space for so many anyway, if I want to show them all at the same time. Got an error that you don't have money in the bottom left, so nothing was happening. I think it still subtracts your money, but an error shows up and it's the wrong error or something. I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to look into that. Those are at least easier things to fix, I think. So yeah, maybe we hold off on this. Maybe we just say, yes, we're going to have 3 battles for now. Yeah. All right, is anything clearer about the ideal party size in the game? More characters you have, the less obvious it's going to be how the battles are going, and even balancing those fights will be tougher. As a player, it'll be tough to figure out how many healers and tanks you should have. Maybe that's part of the fun. I don't know if anything's clearer about this. First of all, there's a max party size of 3 in the game right now. So at best you could, well, not there. I need to, there we go. Yeah, at most you could have 3 players in a battle at once. I wonder if we cap it to like 4 or 5 in the future. I was originally thinking of capping it at 9, but I think 9 is kind of ridiculous. First, you need a system to choose who goes in battle. Yeah, and that is planned. So you will eventually, instead of clicking buttons over here, you'll click something like this portal. It'll say like cave, maximum party members 3, and you'll pick which 3 you want. Yeah, I think this will probably be clear in the future. Should adventurers have something else to do? Current design incentivizes having a battle running at every possible moment, since the expected value of winning an instant should be more than the cost of entering it. Yeah, so an idea that I had is, what if your adventurers also functioned as workers, and workers became just not a thing you could buy, actually? Yeah, so what if we did this? Add in a way to manually stock stores and move items around, and then give you 1 worker to do that automatically, and then allow adventurers to function as workers when they're not battling. Yeah, overworking the NPCs. Are we gonna have status effects like stun and poison? Yes, and they already technically exist in the game. So if you are on the mage, you can get the burn spell, and that's, I mean, it's essentially like poison. There's stun, there are buffs in the game, there are debuffs in the game already. A lot of these are just shown very minimally. Like, I think the only debuff is Crush has a skill called, I think, Disorient. And buffs, there are several of these. There's Cloak of Shadows. There's Crush has a skill called Rage. Probably some other ones I'm forgetting. Stun is in the form of, how do you stun things? No, maybe you can't stun things yet. I don't know. I don't remember. Having a recovery time for adventurers and using them as workers seems neat. Yeah, I like the idea. I like that it gives your adventurers a reason to exist in the town. And I like that you'd be able to see them doing something. Whereas right now, when you hire an adventurer, it's like, well, what happened? Like, did I even just do anything? And that was confusing. Even my wife commented on that when she played yesterday. You click hire adventurer and you're like, oh, it says hire the rogue. It's like, where's the rogue? And she said, is that my rogue? And level themselves up by buying items. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I never thought about that. What if they level up just by getting items? Ended up being very UX focused. All in all, I was disappointed when I maxed out my adventures. It was a good sign because I wanted to keep progressing. All right, cool. Thank you, Hap. You don't want to run a battle unless you don't have enough stock. Yeah. And no more random adventurer hire. Yeah, that's something. The only way. Okay, so right now we have only 3, right? Rogue, mage, and warrior. And so the difference between random and choosing is very minimal because there are only three. So your first choice, I guess, would be one of three, and then your next choice would be one of two, and that's it. So yeah, that's why I didn't do it for checkpoint number one. But yeah, checkpoint number two, I want to have maybe at least like 6 to 8 classes. It shouldn't be too hard to create these until we start having graphics for everything. Then it's gonna be a little bit harder. Okay, yeah, I want to write that idea down. Where are the ideas here? Okay. This would make a lot of sense, and I like it as an idea. When you hire a new adventurer, it could be that they start at level 1 and you're like, yeah, just go level yourself up with the items that you need. And then they could get to the max level pretty quickly that way. I think if you want actionable feedback from players that aren't tied to the stream or the development in any way, getting some visual confusion fixed before would help a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think what we need to do is we need to address like 90% of this feedback before there's another build available. Is upgrading in shops essentially the same thing as upgrading the storeroom? Upgrading shops lets the shop stock more stuff. So it'll put another, oops, I don't have the money for that. It'll put another display here so that your workers could take an item from the storeroom and put it there. If there is no other display here, then it'll just stay in the storeroom, and then you might not have space for new items. The adventurer would consume an item without giving you money. Yes, something like that. But you'd have to, I guess, enable that you want to level it up. Or maybe you're dragging an item onto the adventurer or something like that. Or you're putting it where their house is. Or I don't know. There had to be some system for that. And I'm not even sure. I'm not sure that I want to do that. But that would be a more elegant way of solving the thing rather than like, hey, go get into like 10 battles just so that you can do what all of your other adventurers are doing. It'd be nice to have an auto button next to start battle. So it auto starts as long as it's toggled on. Yeah, you're actually the first person to say that, and I thought more people would be commenting on that. But part of the reason why is there's no penalty for battles right now. But in the future, it'll cost money to start a battle, and we may have adventurers act as your workers. So your penalty would be like, well, they're not running the town if they're doing that. But I'll write that down. If you tie that to the level of adventure, like the first 5 levels, you need the level 1 battle potions. We give an incentive to run lower level battles. It would, yeah. One of the things I'm a little concerned about there is, let's say I just level up all my adventurers. The level 1 battle at that point takes about 5 seconds, maybe. So it's like, ooh, yeah, it's an incentive, but is it something that's fun to go do, or does it feel tedious? And I think it's fun if there's still some challenge and like some amount of, okay, I need to go do this. I think it could potentially work though. I think we would probably need to prototype it. And maybe I write that down, that it's an idea worth prototyping. It's an idea worth designing / prototyping. Having adventurers level up by buying items. Maybe if you could manually move items, it would feel a bit better. Could drag it onto an adventurer somehow. It'd be up to the player to not toggle auto on levels that are hard. Yeah. I'll write this down over here. I guess this is kind of a gameplay thing. Yeah. There are some other considerations with this, which is that eventually you're going to form the parties yourself. So you might have something like, volcano dungeon or something like that. And there may be a check mark next to it saying, yes, I want auto battles. But like, which party does it bring? And what if one of those adventurers is busy? Something. So yeah, I need to figure out how we're going to do that. Having rarity on the loot would be cool. Glowing effects may be pretty expensive, and we'll sit in the shop for a bit until a big money customer comes to town. Will adventurers eventually have equipment slots? So I I don't want to do the equipment slot thing. I don't want this to turn it all into like, what is the next thing I should equip? Because I feel like that adds just a whole level of complexity that would not really pay off in this kind of game. But the rarity on the loot, I think, is a thing that, yeah, we should probably be doing. Which means we'd probably be coding in a different kind of loot system. Probably need a slightly different loot system for this. Are comments and ratings on itch helpful at this point? I don't know, to be honest. But the page is not exposed to the search. So if you search for Skeleseller on itch, where do we do this? Look at gross revenue. That's from Botland. Yeah, if we search for Skeleseller, yeah, it shouldn't show up at all. So I don't think it's going to matter yet, but maybe it'll matter eventually. When you hover the text on the top left, maybe the info text should be like 2 to 3 rows. Yes, that is something that eventually there are not going to be those kinds of tooltips. I just added that for new players like just yesterday, I think. But I'll put that in here too. Powers from quest kind of replaces that. Kind of replaces what? The rare items and stuff. Did I look through all these questions? Oh yeah, do battles need to be clearer? I didn't hear feedback about this necessarily. And I think having small-ish battles allows them to be a little clearer than maybe they will be if you have like 9 people. Equipping the items. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, aiming clear. Ability system. Should the class defining passive also have some mods on it? I feel like it would work well. Yeah, this is something I would like to maybe do. So right now you have a skill tree and you have a class defining passive ability. So the rogue is execute. It makes it so that the rogue just automatically kills the enemy when they're 10% life or less. But should there also be 2 mods in this row? So maybe one of them could say like plus 1% life that the enemy needs. And the other one could say something like, well, I don't know what it would do, but you know, picture another modifier on it. And that way you'd have somewhere between 5 and 6 choices. I like the idea. I definitely like the idea. And it shouldn't be too hard to just add in later. But we would need to come up with all of these. Execute mod 1 would be something like enemy can have X% more life. Execute mod 2. I don't know what that would be. But after executing an enemy, get plus 50% power or something. Activate Cloak of Shadows for 10 seconds. Actually, that could be pretty cool. Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah. Will the characters eventually go through the map rather than just all over the place? Yes, they will. Yeah. I need an Amazon link. I don't think there is an Amazon link for a Corn keyboard. I'd actually be kind of surprised. Let me check. Corn keyboard. No, they don't. They don't have it at all. Oh, there are a lot of keyboards for sale on Amazon. Yeah, I like this idea. And I think it could be cool. I like that it adds player choice. I like having more of a choice for players. Yeah. So I'm leaning toward adding this. It would also make the skill tree look a little bit more even. 3 skills, 2 mods each. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we add that in. I don't know. Add mods for passive abilities, or for the class defining passives. A summoner. Yeah, I definitely can see having a summoner class. Maybe something like this. Yeah, I was thinking about something like this a while ago, but there are a couple things. One is, I guess we only have 2 passives for each active ability, and I think 2 is the right amount. And at that point, I think I just arrange these such that you got them in essentially like a little table. Yeah, the 3 for active part I think is what's tough, because in Idle Ascendance we had slash, and there were 3 different things. There was rapid slash, there was dire slash, and there was some other thing. I don't remember what it was. And I just, it just felt like it was wrong to me. It was like, I'm making too much of a choice. I'm only putting 1 point in. Yeah. Or I guess it felt like the choice was more minor when there were 3. Okay, so I'm convinced. I think there should be mods for the abilities. All right, item system. Is it possible to put an item for display that can't really sell because it costs too much? If so, what do we do about that? Maybe you can run a sale on the item, or maybe you can ditch the item. Oh yeah, there could be like a trash can or something eventually. We probably need to add that in the game if we have any sort of manual control. How does restocking work? I mean, this isn't a problem now, and if it ever is a problem, then we'll need to address it. Just bought 10,000 worth of workers. How much? How much does that cost? 10,000. So you got 70,000 money? Oh wait, $10,000 worth of, not 10,000 workers. Sorry, I misread your message. Yeah. All right. Well, that's like what, 140 workers? Yeah. This cost system reminds me of Moonlighter. I played through Moonlighter, yeah. I had mixed feelings about the game. I was just telling my wife about this yesterday, because I said, how would you feel about setting costs? And at first she's like, oh yeah, that sounds interesting. But I said, you know how this worked in Moonlighter? I'm like, you're basically kind of binary searching your way to the best cost. And because it's a binary search, that means that you can get pretty much any ideal cost in like 4 steps. So maybe you start an item at like 100 and oh, that's too much. Okay, so you go down to 50 and oh, that's too little, and you try 75. And then at some point you're like, I don't care that much about optimizing the last 15. Like, fine, I'll just set it to 55 or something like that. And you did this for every item in the game, and it just turned into like, okay, what have I tested so far? And it was, I think it serves some purposes. I don't know if it's fun. Yeah, it sounded good, but wasn't fun. And so this is where I thought, okay, let's say we said this was a problem. There's not enough to do in town. So the solution would be add some manual action. And the ideas here were things like manually placing items in the right shops, maybe some simple crafting system, e.g. 2 potions makes a 1 better potion. And I don't know what other ideas I had. How about a market board to see what is the search and value of items? Yeah, but still, does that make it fun? Like, I guess I kind of look at this as, if you just had a wiki open alongside the game, you would just know what everything sells for, and then you wouldn't need that market board. Or then fine, you say like, okay, well, a wiki can't work because we're going to randomize it for your game. But either way, you'd know the general range of the item that it would have to fit in. I don't know if it's fun gameplay. That's all. It gives you something to do. But after the first 1 or 2 times doing it, it just feels like, oh, this again. Showing the debug build, spawning 1,000 workers. Breaks the state machine. Thankfully, it's never going to get to that point. Especially if you have your adventurers acting as workers, which I'm leaning more and more toward, then you'd probably have a total of like somewhere between 10 to 15 workers at the end of the game. And I think that'd be reasonable. I think that should be able to control pretty much anything you need to control. And then customers, maybe you have a total of like 20 of those in your town. Can't open the green shop at certain camera states. Doesn't happen with the other shops. I wonder, can you take a picture of the state that you get in where you can't open that? Is it like you're zoomed in? Because it looks like it's working pretty much no matter what. Yeah. Well, the summoner adventurer wouldn't summon workers. It would just summon during the battles. Yeah. Board would change depending on the in-game market, so it would not be a fixed value. But that's just me talking. I like the system in Moonlighter. Yeah, yeah. I'm not sold on it, which means you probably need to lower the price of this idea, and then maybe I'd be sold on it. I'm not sure what would need to be done. And I'm not even sure this idea of like merging items or crafting is a good idea. I think this is worth testing. What if you manually place items and then it's something you're slowly automating out, but you could still do in the future? So you see an item here, you can click it, it's on your mouse, you put it down over here, and it works. So maybe we try something like that. Yeah. Red message over the storeroom, X items lost, overlaps and is unreadable. It overlaps with what? With the upgrade or with the send feedback message? What engine am I using? I'm using Godot. I don't know if this is intentional, but you cannot open shops when you press the sides. You're actually opening it from the NPC. So yeah, the shop itself is not what you're clicking. It's the worker in the shop. In the future, it could be the whole shop. That's not something I feel strongly about. Maybe that's what was confusing you. With a second red message. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that's something I literally added last night because I thought it wouldn't be obvious that you're losing items. But in the future, that could be done a little differently. I'll write that down. Maybe we could add the item display settings where you allow it to auto discount items. Yeah, or some like pawn shop kind of thing. Maybe it's something you can upgrade. I don't know. There are lots of these things that I think we can come up with solutions once we realize what the problem is. Glesko, thank you for resubbing. If you change talents while a battle is running, does it update immediately? No, it only takes effect in the next battle. Okay, I'm going to write this down here. Overlaps with other messages of the same, with other X items lost messages. Yeah. Yeah, you know what then? I'm going to write that down too. Appressel said that they expected to be able to click the whole shop to select the shopkeep's menu. Yeah. Recently started converting from GameMaker to Godot. Thoughts on Godot? I like Godot. I started using it in 2020 and then took a very, very long break from it. But I think it's good. I like it. I like the philosophy and yeah. Are all these actions on click reach because it needs to be immediate? Because I'd find it cool to have my character walk around town and interact with shop owners to upgrade their shop. Oh, interesting. You want your skeleton to go walk over to the NPC. I think when you actually get to upgrading, that might make sense. Although I think it also maybe be a little bit confusing. But if you have many different shops and you're like, what does this one's cost? What does this one's cost? What does this one's cost? It would probably be nice to just be able to open them immediately. Open the shopkeep scene and show the clickable area. Yeah, I'll show you what the, whoops. What is going on? You can't use shortcuts apparently when you're in a text box there. Yeah, so the shopkeep, here's what this looks like. The actual sprite is here and you can click slightly outside of it. So this is the blue is the clickable area, and then obviously the sprite is the sprite. Playing the game for the first time is quite confusing. What is confusing, Life? Do you mind giving more specific feedback than that? Because I am totally open to fixing this stuff. I want to make sure I'm understanding what parts I'd be addressing. I think all characters can solo level 2 battles, but obviously I can't do 3. Will that be doable with the party choice stuff? Yes, that would be doable with the party choice stuff. So you'll have a maximum number of adventurers. So they might say like max 3 for this, but you could take just 1 if you want to. Battle window being dragged out of frame and lost in the abyss. Yes. Yeah. Instead of having click to move item, you could have WSD drive skeleton, and then he could go to upgrade shop. I still am not super on board with the idea, only because even if you could open this UI at will, and then upgrade is what moves your skeleton over there, it would probably feel like, why did it not do anything yet? And then you see your skeleton come over, although maybe you've stopped paying attention at that point. Like, yeah, I'm just not sure it would feel right. I don't really understand what I am to do. I did find out that I have to battle right now, though. Yeah, as long as the game is steering you on track on its own, I'm okay with it right now. Remember, this represents a very early alpha of the game. So it's a little bit more confusing because we just didn't spend time on the, like, here's the storyline of the game, and hey, you start with just one thing, and here's how you manage that one thing. But I think it'll be easier in the future. How did you make the battle screen on the bottom left? Is it like a new scene? It's in a viewport, and then, yeah, I'll just show you the layout of this. So there is a viewport at the bottom of the screen, and then we add in a battle inside there. All right, instance, I guess. Yeah. One thing I didn't put in the survey, if an item shop is full and a worker's holding an item for that shop, it doesn't try to replace that item with another one, which has an open slot. Wait, let me understand this. Item shop is full and a worker's holding, let's say the potion shop is full and they're holding a potion. It doesn't try to replace that item with another one. Oh, I see. So you're saying my worker's holding a potion. Why can't they go pick up an axe instead? Actually, that's an interesting way of doing this. They just swap the items. I hadn't thought about that. E.g. Alchemist is full, worker is holding a potion. Why can't they swap it with an axe in the storeroom if the blacksmith has a slot? Yeah. If I put a Notion link on the feedback form, would you read it? If it's like publicly accessible, yeah. If it requires a sign in, then probably not. And I would request that you put it in plain text. You could also type it up as a Discord message and link to the Discord message if you want. That would still let you edit it. There is now a thread on Skeleseller stuff over here. Yeah, public. That's totally fine then, yeah. All these workers around. Xanis, what are you doing? Oh man, those poor 3 customers. You're just draining them of their money. Hey, Boilo. All right, what other questions did I have here? How does restocking work? I like the idea of your items always being visible, but then there needs to be a limit to that. Items might go to waste. If you have unlimited space, needs to be some system for choosing them. I guess we already answered this, so I'm just going to delete it. Is it meaningful to have to upgrade a shop to sell certain kinds of items? Maybe it's just the shop can only hold items up to a certain sell value. That way you don't need to remember names, or maybe there are item levels. We didn't end up doing either of these things. The original plan was that you would have a shop. So let's say you have the alchemist, and then they'd only be able to sell certain things. So maybe like minor health potion and minor mana potion. And then that's like the level 1 of this shop. And then when you upgrade to level 2, now maybe you could go to like just regular health potion and mana potion, something like this. And I thought, I don't like this because now you need to remember, like, am I finding the right items? Can I sell these? It should really just be based on what the customer has. And right now, customers are an infinite supply. But in the future, I mean, they'll also be infinite, but in the future, they won't be so constant. Right now, as soon as they run out of money, you just get a new customer. But in the future, maybe it's like, well, a customer just hangs around the town for a little bit and then eventually leaves. And maybe that's one of the quests you get, is to make them leave sooner. In fact, that's something I should write down. Make customers leave sooner after running out of money. Yeah. There's no way to exit, had to end the task. How did you maximize it? And what operating system are you on? Last time was for an entirely different game. Hey, Rossi. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome back. I took a long break to work at Google. Maybe you can make the battles more interactable. That is not something that's going to change. I think having the battles be automated is a very important part of this game. So I think I'm going to keep that as is. I find it weird all the NPCs walk around everywhere at the high speed. I'd make them. Yeah. That's going to change though. That's the second piece of feedback you gave. I'll write this down, but I don't think I'm going to ever address this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Windows. Okay, so there was no way to exit. That's too bad. I'll write it down. That should be easy enough to fix. This was on Windows, F11 didn't work. What's the red ring on my finger? It's just a silicone ring. Yeah. You considered sending adventurers through a dungeon, like a battle, but longer / more or rarer loot? So I think what you're suggesting is right now is like one battle room. And your suggestion is what if there were many in a row? Because that is the plan. But if that's not your suggestion, then I would need to hear more. What kind of keyboard is that? It's a corn keyboard. And yeah, you do need to press sometimes multiple keys at once to do something. Okay, that is your suggestion. Okay, got it. Yeah. That's going to be done. And I think that'll be really cool, especially when you have a healer in the game, because maybe if you have 3 damage dealers, then you can quickly complete like one room. But maybe they would die after 2 rooms. And now you're like, okay, well, what if I put 2 damage dealers and a healer? And now maybe you can complete the 2 rooms, but maybe longer ones they can't. So you need a tank and you get like a proper party setup. So I think that sort of thing is going to be pretty cool to explore. I did some level 2 battles with 2 adventurers. I tried to start multiple level 1, and then I started level 2. I only had 1 active one. Yeah. And this is something that eventually in the game, there's going to be a UI for picking your party. So it'll be a little bit more intentional. With the button, it didn't disappear for me. I wonder if you're on different versions of Windows. Maybe they handle full screen differently. Or yeah, maybe it's a resolution issue. Could be any number of things. With that said, we should still have a way of being able to leave full screen. All right, is there ever a problem where a worker is holding an item and has no place to set it down? We could make it so that if they're holding it for too long, they try putting it back in the storeroom. And if there's no place in the storeroom, they drop it on the ground and some other skeleton can take it when there's space. Yeah, something like that. Do you plan to release it on Xbox? No, the only plan right now is for itch and Steam. And I've got a little bit more information in this tiny FAQ here. So yeah, this when and where is it launching? Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep looking through this. I like the idea of manually putting items where you want them. Can we prototype this and have people try it out? It'd free up your skeletons when you get a lot of items. Or just want to manage them yourself. I really think we should try this. Prototype manually moving items around. And having adventurers act as workers. Yeah, I like this idea. Does upgrading out of the range do anything? No, it's just a waste of money right now. All right, thank you, Broken Crown, and thanks for trying it out. And then this, is there any creativity to the progression? Can the player choose to focus on X instead of Y and see the rewards of doing so? Yeah, I don't know if it exists in the current checkpoint. I don't really think that there is, especially because you're not making the choices of which parties am I using or which adventurers am I getting. In the future, this might not be a thing, but it also might not be a problem. So my wife has been playing Slay the Spire, and one of the things she commented on is I haven't played the game, but as far as I understand, it's like a roguelike card game where you go through a map and you, I don't know, build up a deck or something. Anyway, the point is that run A is not always going to be the same as run B, and that's baked into the design of the game. I don't think Skeleseller has the amount of variance to allow for like the replayability you would expect from a game like Slay the Spire, and I don't think that's a problem, and I don't think we need to add anything for it. But that's what this question was about. Like, is there replayability? Would you want to play again or something? And the reason, by the way, I don't think this is a problem is I mentioned Super Mario RPG. I don't think Super Mario RPG has any replayability. You get all the characters on every run that you do. You've gone through all the areas. There are some like tiny little side things, but you could always boot up your old save file and just play that one. So if you consider replayability, it's for, I hesitate to call it this, but end game content. And for that, we could definitely do that in Skeleseller. But it is not from things like, oh, I want to try a totally different party system, or I made a decision early on in the game that forked the paths I could take, and I want to go take the other path. That's just not a thing. And yet, this is a great game and sold really well. And yeah. What's your target time to finish Skeleseller? If you're talking about dev time, it's ideally this year. And if you're talking about gameplay time, it's something like 5 to 10 hours. This might be a little bit tough. I've been on a very, I would say, pretty fast pace so far, but I'm about to take a vacation. And then when we get back, yeah, who knows? There's going to be more tasks than just coding. And the coding hasn't been too bad, but yeah, we're going to get into things like, you know, music and a bunch of these like meta tasks like Discord integration and like listing the game for Twitch and launching on Steam, which is really going to be like sign up for the Apple dev program and notarize my app. Anyway, all this stuff can take time. And how long will the vacation be? I think it's going to be about 3 weeks. I'm not concerned about this from a loss of development time or something. I need a vacation. I've been working really, really hard. But yeah, once I get back, I think it's not like I'm just sort of in the clear and I'm like, okay, I'm fully recharged. There's still a lot of stuff going on, and there's other things this year that I'll need to take a break for. Yeah, art is going to be pretty big too, except for I'm not personally working on that. So like the music I'm thinking of doing personally, and that's time taken away from development, and maybe I don't do such a great job at it. I have a town theme planned, which, you know what? It's a celebration day. Let me play you why this is not loading. There we go. Hey Trackley. Let me play you my town theme. I haven't answered yet, Oppressal. I'll probably answer it at some point when I'm done. What I went and did. All right, let's find an instrument. This. All right, is this loud? Is it too loud? Okay, cool. Yeah, so I don't have as many keys as I need. So I'm gonna play just the melody of this. Oh, I don't remember how it goes after that, but yeah. It's very hard to play on such a tiny keyboard. Yeah, anyway, I like that as a town theme. I just need to actually build that out. If you had some bone shaking sounds, it would be awesome. Like a xylophone or a rattle. Hey, Rami. Rami, you should try Skeleseller. It's playable. It's out now at a local GameStop. Okay, so I think we've answered these questions, or at least what I'm concerned with here. And I know what I want to try, so I'm happy with that. Yeah, maybe a jump time. I think I've been kind of barreling through everything so far because I don't plan on doing too much today. But in the afternoon, maybe I'll plan some of the town changes. Yeah, it probably is a good idea to take a break though. All right, let's do it. I'll be back in just a little bit. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Close the game. Okay, so again, for anyone who hasn't seen, Skeleseller is playable now. There is already a lot of feedback that I think is worth addressing. So I'm probably not gonna I'm not gonna like, I guess, keep advertising it for weeks after this. If someone comes in and they're like, hey, how do I check out the game? I mean, I'll share the link with them. But yeah, I really appreciate the feedback everyone's given already. I don't know how to start a battle. Did I tweet? No, I didn't. Yeah, I don't think it's I don't think we need more eyes on the game at this point because I think we've got enough direction for what we need to do. And then, yeah, plan checkpoint number 2 and what I'll work on. And like maybe make some quick bug fixes. Yeah, so not knowing how to start a battle, there are buttons on the left side. And yeah, you just need an adventurer first, and then you can start the battle using the start battle button. ETA for checkpoint number 2. The thing I had listed here at least was like July or August. Let me think about this for a sec. Let's look at a 2024 calendar. Does iOS have a calendar app? I've never actually thought to open this. What happens if I hit continue here? Hang on a second. Events found in mail, messages, and Safari. I don't use any of those. All right, I just don't want it. I don't want it showing any personal information. Let me hit continue and see what happens. Is there anything on here? No, I don't think so. How do I hide these things? I don't care. Whatever. It doesn't matter. All right. So May 17th right now. May 22nd is when I'm taking my vacation. And then I get back mid-June. I don't know when I'm going to start streaming again, but let's say it's the 17th. So we got a ton of progress in 1 month. If we were to just aim for 1 more month, that would put us at July 17th. So let's round over to the nearest Friday, July 19th. I wonder if that's a good target for checkpoint number 2. Let me think about this. July 19th. What do we have for that? Aim for a couple hours of gameplay. So yeah, I want to add more classes in. Add maybe like 3 to 4 more classes. Allow for choosing a party of adventurers. What else? Add more instances. Do we consider this maxed out for now? Yes, we do. Feedback form submitted. All right, thank you for checking it out, Aprestle. Let me look through the feedback really fast and see, are people generally having fun? All right, here are the results. So yeah, there are no disagrees and strongly disagrees, although this is a biased set of people if you're on the stream watching this game. But yeah, it seems like most people are having fun. How did most people find out? Yep, almost entirely by just watching the stream, and 1 person through someone else who watches the stream. And yeah, most people want to play on desktop. Okay, yeah, I'll have to read through the feedback. I guess that's kind of homework for me. Look through the long feedback, the long form feedback. Definitely buy this. Cool, thanks. Any plans to add some type of personality traits to workers or customers so they move or act a little differently to add a bit of variation? Yeah, you know, that brings up an interesting point, which is if we have adventurers, where is it? Yeah, if we have adventurers acting as workers, they could have different speeds to them, which could be kind of interesting. Or maybe they all stock a particular... Oh, actually, that is pretty interesting. What if they all stock a particular kind of item? So like the warrior only stocks weapons and or maybe the warrior only stocks armor and the rogue only stocks weapons. And then your worker stocks everything. That could be interesting. But yeah, I'll write that down. Let me add that here. Could be interesting if each adventurer has different speeds on the overworld. Maybe they could each stock only 1 item type at a time, but your worker stocks them all. Then a quest lets you upgrade how many they can stock. E.g., each adventurer can stock all item types. Yeah. Oh, man, I always miss. I don't even think these messages showed now that I think about it. Because I looked in the middle of the break and these weren't showing up. I don't know why that happens. Live chat, all messages are visible. Yeah. Sorry for not responding. I am like 99% sure they just did not show for me. If you have too many workers, just start your off frames. Yeah. We'll have a limit on that eventually. Yeah. Yeah, if the game does well, I think adding mobile support could be done because it's going to be a lot of UI work and some launch work, but it won't really be any gameplay work, probably, hopefully. I think it would be tough to do on mobile though. Yeah, I think the hardest thing about mobile would be getting you the information you need at the right times. So like on desktop, you can see the battles play out while you're managing the town. On mobile, that probably wouldn't be possible. So would you ever even look at the battles? Like, do we force you to look at them? Do we change the town's layout so that you can see more of it at once? Do we simplify everything somehow? I don't know. I'd even assume this would do better for a mobile user. Mobile pricing is like way out of whack though for games. If you like Stardew Valley sells for $5 on mobile, I think, or at least on my phone. And the way that a lot of mobile games work is they're typically in like the $1 to $3 range, and then they have microtransactions. And I want to avoid microtransactions, and I don't think it'd be worth developing for $2 per sale. So we got a ton. What if there's a shared grill? What if you made hamburgers? Skella Hamburglar. How's it going, EJ? You gonna try the game out? You want to try it out? You want to play a game? If you have many workers, you can see the movement limit. Yeah. I just picked an arbitrary like rectangle that they roam around in. It wasn't supposed to be anything too smart. Hang on a second. It's like a weird smell coming from the vent. I don't know what that means. But this is worrisome. I don't even know what that smell is. When can we see a cat in the game? I don't think we'll add cats. I think this is a cat-free game. Like the concept? I'm glad, yeah. This is me from the closet. Once a year streamer EJ. No, carbon monoxide you can't smell, right? Isn't it odorless? But yeah, I am very concerned about this. Let me write this down in my bridge note. Look into what smell was coming from the vents. What is that? Smoky scented? It smells uh like damp clothes, I guess. It's not smoky. It's not an egg smell. Yeah. It's like close to what mold would smell like, I guess. But it did not smell like this yesterday. I mean maybe it's mold, but yeah, like I said, I didn't smell anything yesterday, so I don't know where that's coming from. Live in a bigger house complex or just a house of your own? Just a standalone house, yeah. Okay, so collecting feedback. I'm going to mark this as done because it's pretty obvious that we're going to still do it, but I don't need to do anymore. Plan some town changes and see how people feel. Yeah, so going back to that, do I have that tab open still where I wrote problem? Yeah, this. Yeah, so let's say this is a problem. There's not enough to do in town. Solution would be added some manual action. What would be some manual actions that could be added that would be fun? And I think we're going to start with this, and that might be enough. Because we already got feedback from somebody saying that this was kind of, yeah, Mudkip said it was kind of micromanagey. There's like a lot of stuff you can do, and you're doing it all mostly through buttons. And so adding more that you'd micromanage, I think would be a little bit tough. I kind of want to think about this, but I think even a basic crafting system would be a lot going on and a lot to think about. We'd probably want to automate this too. Yeah. Could be laundry next to the air intake. I don't think that would be the issue, just based on what I know about our place. But yeah, I'll have to see. Hang on a second, actually. Maybe. Yeah, maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe it's some like cat mess. Why is the shop over the worker layer? It just like prototype things basically. Like it wasn't a well thought out thing. These are all things that are going to change eventually. The overall philosophy, and I don't know if anyone's new here, I want to just share this, was develop as little as possible to test the idea. And that's certainly what we've done. And this as little as possible part means that people end up giving feedback like, hey, have you thought of this? Are you going to do this? Are you going to fix this bug? Like, yes, definitely. We're almost certainly going to address everything that people have talked about, unless it's like a fundamental game design thing that I don't plan on fixing. But yeah, the bugs, the font blurriness, those sorts of things, those will get fixed. A screen where you can see stats on your town could be nice to have. Time played, money, min, total battles. DPS meter in the battles could be cool. Yeah, those are good suggestions, Travoid. I'll write that down. I hesitate to want to put a DPS meter in the game for players, because I think as soon as you expose that, people will want to maximize that, and that may not be what's best. So I'll let players probably figure that out. But yeah, the player's supposed to be the Merchants Guild or the mayor of a city. The story is, here, I'll link this in. The story is shown here. Your dream is to be an adventurer. You go out, you're battling, you get in a fight with a snake, and you get poisoned. You just start taking damage. You come back to the town, you try to find an antidote, but they're not selling one, so you die. And then you come back as a skeleton, and you're like, that's it. I'm not going to let this happen again. You start a town. So that's your, I guess, the mayor of the city, or the whoever starts a town. I don't know. A mayor. Yeah, no problem, Sir Puppet. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not leaning toward a crafting system. Is there any other idea of what you could do in your town? I mean, it have to be something with items or with the adventurers or the customers. So yeah, items would be crafting, setting prices. Yeah, adventurers would be healing / resting, acting as workers. I don't, giving them items. And customers would be nudging them to the shop they may prefer. Yeah, or the town, I guess. The town could be things like relocating shops. I don't think that would be as fun, though. I definitely want to start with the manually placing items thing. I want to see how that goes. I don't like the idea of setting prices. I think crafting would be too complex. I think this part could also be interesting. This was based on the suggestion of, yeah, Dougie Fresh. What if you leveled up adventurers by giving them items? And maybe you're manually giving them to the adventurer somehow. Actually, you know what? Each adventurer could essentially have a quest of its own. Like, give me 2 swords. And that way we generally know what level you'll be at each phase of the game. There could be a merchant that sells you the items that you need for that sort of thing. Could you have a % chance for an enemy to have a rare drop that's able to be equipped by your adventurers? Equipping isn't something I want to do. Equipping, I think, as a system, that would complicate quite a lot. And the only way, like, the way you typically think about equipment is it's a way to customize a build and to add power to characters. And maybe also to some extent, which we wouldn't be doing, but customize the look of your character. So sometimes you have purely cosmetic gear. But as far as customizing a build, that's for skill points. Adding power to your characters will be quests. This will be skill points. And leveling up. And so typically with equipment, you have some decisions to make of, is equipment piece A better than equipment piece B? And just that amount of thought, the amount of UI that needs to go into it, I just don't see it helping. Yeah, so perma upgrades are going to come from quests. And that's the system that you don't have accessible in the game right now, but I could show you really fast, which is when you upgrade a shop, you'll get a quest, and then there will be a dialogue that lets you see, okay, if you give me 10 axes, you'll get, plus 10% damage on all of your adventurers forever. And if you find 5 potions, maybe customers move around faster, or they have more money or something like that. And so you're like, okay, that sounds good. Let's go with quest 1. And then you'll get a little bin here. And instead of your adventurers bringing items to the display, they'll bring it to the bin, and then the item will disappear. So you're essentially paying money, but in a very roundabout way, and delaying how you're going to get that reward. And it'll also make you maybe go into older battles so that you can win those items correctly. Hey, APX. Ability to buy certain items to improve your town, which leads to more buyers, or updates to paths and buildings. Paths didn't start. Dirt, stone, fancy stone. Yeah, I think that could be cool. I was thinking about it in terms of like upgrading your town somehow. And maybe it could be done with the quest system. Town upgrades were planned, but maybe this is done through the quest system too. Yeah. Hog's memory and lags. 100,000 workers. Yeah. Yeah, for anyone who didn't hear from earlier, because I see Life saying this on YouTube too, workers you're probably going to have like 15 at most in the final game. This is not some kind of infinite, oh, you've got 400 workers and they're doing a million different things. It's like you've got a good amount. They can probably handle most of the items you're getting. Maybe I don't know, they move faster. Or maybe you get some like final upgrade where workers can blink forward. Actually, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Maybe give adventurers certain spells for the overworld, like a haste spell, a blink spell, etc., so that they can restock faster. Maybe they can also enchant or enhance the items to increase their value, but it's only certain adventurers doing this. Could eventually just add, oh no, I think we'll just keep it like that. Backpacks or carts that allow them to carry and stock multiple items at a time. Yeah, could allow workers to stock multiple items at once. Yeah. Send a video on Discord of the 3 FPS point. Yeah, I'll take a look, but I don't see it as a problem right now. Because, like, yes, if you got too many workers, it would slow your system down. No game could handle an infinite amount. But if it were, three workers is slowing down your system, then it's a problem. If it's 300, it's probably not an issue. Hey, yo. All right, so anything else in terms of how to add something to do in town? I think just the manually placing items, like I said, I think that's probably gonna be good enough. And I think having adventurers take items to level up is an idea I want to explore. But other than that, I think that's probably good. Yeah. And I think we'll test that out and see how it feels. So I think that's probably, we'll just add it as a question. General, wait, is that already there? General gameplay? General progression, yeah, general gameplay. Does it feel like there's enough to do at any time? Should we add more manual actions? Okay. Pretty happy with that. So now it would just be plan checkpoint number 2. I guess we can close our many tabs that I have open. Is there a faster way to do this? Because I do this a lot. Yeah, I wonder if VS Code close tabs and don't show save dialog. Close the active tab or all tabs. I mean, I know the shortcut for it. And I know the shortcut for this too. How do you close them and not have a mask about this? Don't show save dialog when closing a file when autosave is enabled. I don't know. I guess we just had to click this a million times. I suppose the other thing I could do, I could write a plugin or something. I was going to say, if you just clear out the buffer first, then it doesn't warn you. But then I need to go through all these and do this. Whoops. Yeah, and then we run the risk of doing that. Clearing that out. There we go. Hey, Eric. Checkpoint number 1 was fun. I'm glad you enjoyed. Either way, that smell went away, whatever that was. So I'll still have to investigate. All the enemies are dead, but the battle is still on the screen. Is this with your tons and tons of workers, though? Because that's probably just a slowdown issue. I would suggest just restarting the game, because possibly the issues you're going to run into are not going to be like real issues. If you had buffers in different windows of the editor, I see. Yeah. Okay, so checkpoint number 2. Let's go take a look. Oh, I should probably write in the README how to launch a checkpoint. Just export all from Godot and then run the upload to itch script. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't have anything else here. So we need to look through the backlog. There's going to be quite a lot to this. Let's close out all these tabs. Yeah. Actually, no, I want that one open because I want to see what I had planned for this. I'll expand it in a separate tab so I don't permanently do this. Okay, I think saving and loading is going to be needed. Yeah, in fact, let's just kind of plan this over here for now. Checkpoint number 2, saving and loading. I don't know about sounds and music just yet, but probably projectiles and effects in battle. Customers and workers walking in the right spots. July 19th, question mark. Quests. Battles being multiple rooms. And choosing parties for battles. This may be a little overzealous. I'm not sure. And then what else did I have written down? Yeah, fix font issues. Add 3 to 4 more classes. Did I draw the sprites? No. Check out the Skell document there. And Life, sorry, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but you have asked like 2-3 questions from this, so if you don't mind just reading through the different questions on here, it'll probably answer more that you didn't even know you had. To close all in VS Code, which will pop up a single dialog. Oh, really? Oh, that's what I should bind that to then. Close all editors. Interesting. So if I just type this and then save this because I want this here, and then do Control KW. Very cool. Yeah. All right. Thank you, yo. Hey, I'll call in Q. You want to play Skeleseller? All right, I gotta remember that. I'll just write this down here too. Remember Command K, Command W to close all editors in VS Code. Yeah, we're just planning what's going to go on in later releases of this. So fix font issues, add 3 to 4 more classes, allow for choosing this, add more. Oh yeah, add more instances. Prototype manually moving items around. Prototype manually moving items around. Prototype having adventurers act as workers. This isn't all going to be possible in checkpoint number 2. Or I need to push out checkpoint number 2. So yeah, that's the main question. Question, do we do all of these things and push the launch of checkpoint number 2, or do we trim this list? Fix customer and worker AI. Yeah, make customers and workers smarter. And then, yeah, add mods for class defining passive. Okay. Hey, Corax. Are the buyers just infinite money? Yeah, for now they are. In the future, it's going to be a little different. There will still be an infinite supply of money from customers, but they won't show up in the same way. Skill choices feel redundant. Doesn't feel like there's a wrong choice. I just want them to kill stuff faster. Yeah, what you're experiencing, by the way, I don't think there's almost any way to work around this because it's an automated game. Like, we could try to make the skills drastically different. There could be something like, take less damage or something. Yeah, balance isn't totally there in the game yet. But at any point, you'll find a way that, oh, I win 100% of these fights. Just go do those fights. And I don't think there's any getting around that. And I spent a while thinking about this. I made an entire YouTube video on the topic that hardly anybody watched. Okay, so now we're going to put these things into here. I think that them regenerating all their health instantly prevents, for example, any healing or defensive spells becoming useful. Part of what you're seeing is that right now battles are a single room. And in the future, there will be a chain of rooms at once. And no healing in between, except to revive dead characters with 1 HP. So in these cases, it will be more of a like, okay, you need to survive. And most battles will end up being multiple rooms. YouTube is really weird lately. You might not get new viewers now. You mean for those old videos? Because, yeah, I've noticed a trend where what they do is they try to figure out what's your click-through rate. And if your click-through rate is greater than 5%, then they'll keep giving you impressions. But if it's less than 5%, they'll just stop sending you most impressions unless it's on a very specific search. And if I were YouTube, I'd do the exact same thing, right? Like, why bother? If someone's video is the best in the world and somehow it's only getting a 1% click-through rate, then like, just don't show it to people. There's more content out there. So yeah, I don't fault them for that. Anyway, Poilo, if that's what you're talking about, then yeah, that'll be addressed. But otherwise, it would make it kind of tough because you'd have to treat the town as like a regeneration zone almost, where that's where your adventurers go to heal. So if you took 20% damage, then now you need to like wait in town for a bit. And it's a level of management that I think could be a little bit fun, but probably it'd just be tedious. Probably you just want a checkbox like wait in town until full life. Adding charge to the CC. Thank you very much, Eric, for the $2. May I ask what Skeleseller is? Yeah, check out this command. In short, it's a game where you play as a shopkeep slash like town runner. You hire adventurers, they do battle for you, and you sell the items that they earn from battle. But as soon as you beat the battle once, there's no longer an incentive to upgrade the defensive spells for now because attack power will lead to faster items and more money. Yeah, that's true. And there should probably be some randomization of the dungeons that you fight. But it's always probably going to kind of be that way. Keep the window open display. Yes, that's something I want to do too. I'll write that down as well. So these things I want to include in the feedback that we got. This goes into general gameplay. Yep, and then this I would say is a UI thing. Cool, cool, cool. Some more cards keep active in August and September. Thank you, Eric, for making it seem like I'm doing you a favor. I can't hit the bugged instance with 100,000 workers on screen. Yeah, I don't know what that was about exactly, but I'm not super concerned about it. How do you decide where to create a note, Obsidian versus Google Drive? I noticed you do both. A lot of the stuff that I create in Google Drive is ephemeral stuff or stuff I want to share with the stream in real time. So this document is something you have access to, although I don't really expect anyone to ever really care about it, but there's the link to it. So if you wanted to read what I'm writing, you could. Whereas in Obsidian, I'd have to publish it. It would go to notes.idlemers.com. It would get indexed by search engines. And it's just not something I want to maintain here. This is all a staging ground for other documents. But yeah, in general, it's not like a hard and fast rule that I've got. And I've got a command that talks about some of it, but not a ton. What are good window tools for macOS? Something like how it works in Windows. I think I've got my programs that I use over here somewhere. Yeah, what program am I using for this stuff? So I use these two, Alt Tab and Rectangle. And those help me out a decent amount. And then I use Hammer Spoon as well for switching between apps immediately. So I can go to VS Code with Alt 3, Chrome with Alt 1, my terminal with Alt 5, like Finder with Alt 2, all that opened over there, and so on and so forth. And that lets me feel more like I'm on Windows, which is really nice. Will there be animations for the attacks and or will characters wander around the room? Both of those things are going to be fixed. I don't know about in checkpoint number 2 necessarily, but yeah, both of those things will be fixed. Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for. Well, cool. Glad I can help. Hey, tomatoes. All right. We got to put all these things into here. Won't that be fun? All right, saving and loading is already there, and I think it's going to be needed for checkpoint number 2. So let's find it. Save. I think we just need the save system. We don't need the autosave system yet. Yeah, this is already written for checkpoint number 2. Autosave system. Oh, it's already written for checkpoint number 3. Cool. Well, that's done. All right, next up is battles. Finish making battle system. This is really like projectiles and effects. And this is going to be checkpoint number 2. It's already done. Nice. Customers and workers walking in the right spots. Do we have something about that? Walk, path. Ah, here it is. Add collision and pathing for entities in the town. All right, this is going to change to priority 0. But yeah, that's done. Quests are already being planned. I know about that. Battles having multiple rooms. Do we have that here? Yep, we do. Is that checkpoint number 2? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. Choosing parties for battle. Do we have that? I don't. Oh, there's allow for choosing which adventurer you hire, which is actually important. Choosing parties for battle. Oh, I don't think I have that here, do I? Oh, allow for choosing an instance group. Keyword party. That's already good there. Good, cool. Any reason for breaking on null target versus continuing? Is this game like Universal Paperclips? Universal Paperclips was, I would say, an idle game that did a little bit of a twist on the idle genre, but was mostly still in the idle genre. This is more like an automated game than the idle genre of games, in that there's a finite amount of gameplay and there's I'd say like less just sitting around doing nothing. But otherwise, yeah, it's similar, I guess. It's playable, by the way, if you want to just download it and try it out. You should probably add some screenshots to the itch page. Add some screenshots to the itch page. Anyway, yeah. Reason for breaking on null target. Let's go take a look. Oh, because enemy target checks to see if the enemy is alive, right? Does it? Yeah. So it's possible that you killed the enemy. Yeah. Or killed all of the enemies. Have a lot of fun playing the game. Glad to hear it. Yeah, I think this is really promising. And I know people's expectations are much higher when a game is fully launched. But we've got time to still work on this. And I think that, well, I think there is a big question of what are we launching for checkpoint number 2, which I do want to think about. But I think checkpoint number 2 will be even a better indicator of like, is this fun? Are people playing the game? Maybe we even track game time for that. Consider tracking game time in checkpoint number 2 and having it auto report. Maybe how many times someone returns to the game. It's like clicker heroes. I mean, yeah, these are all things in the idle genre. Like I said, I think of this as being slightly different in that it's a finite game. It's got like human understandable numbers. A lot of the idle genre games go on forever. They've got things like you're earning 12 billion money per second, and it's just very hard to understand. Like, is that good? What's the max amount of money? Like, what do I? I don't know. All right, font issues. Do we have that listed anywhere? Fix blurry text and font. Yeah, we do. This is for checkpoint number 1. Needs to be changed to checkpoint number 2. Oh, there's all this stuff. We gotta move all of this. Move all tasks from checkpoint number 1 to number 2 or later. Yeah, this is still not done. Let's move this though. Checkpoint number 2. All right, add 3 to 4 more classes. There is already a content task, I believe. Yep, content for checkpoint number 2. I'm gonna make this a little bit clearer on how this works. So add 3 to 4 more adventurer classes. Maybe add some abilities for enemies, e.g. poisoning you, debuffing, etc. This will be somewhat hard to follow what's going on since they won't be abilities that you've had time to look at. Add more adventure classes, add more items to be sold, add more regions, more enemy types. Yeah. Good, add more instances. Yep. Prototype manually moving items around. Yep, that I'm gonna have to file. Backlogs, Skeleseller. Prototype manually moving items around. See what it would be like to allow clicking an item in the storeroom and placing it. Actually, there's nothing else you can do with an item right now. So if there's a potion here and you click it, the only reason you'd be clicking it is to place it in the shop. So clicking it could just automatically put it in the shop to the point where you don't need to like drag the item into it. There's no choice of a destination. That could be how we do this. I have some suggestions mixed in the review. Is that a problem? No, not at all. Yeah, anything you want to include in there, totally fine. What is the gray area they walk above? You mean like this? That's just laziness is what they're walking on top of. Like at some point, this will look like a proper town. There'll be like a river flowing through it and flowers and trees and a whole bunch of other stuff. The execute skill button is missing. It's not a button because there's nothing to click on it. It's just a description of a skill you have. Yeah. So the only things you can put points into are these 4 things. And eventually I might add in mods for execute and for your other class defining passives. I did it. I beat the game. Good job, Corax. All right, yeah. Prototype manually moving items around. See what it would be like to allow clicking an item in the storeroom to place it in the corresponding shop. At least at the time of writing, there's no decision on where to put an item. So clicking an item could just put it in the shop directly. Maybe we even allow you to take an item from a skeleton or from a worker. I don't know, this needs to be planned a little bit. Since this is a prototype, try to keep the code contained and just try ideas out to see what works and feels good. Yeah. Okay. There should be an unpressable button that says bought to make it more clear, in my opinion, or owned since you start with it. Yeah, the skill tree needs better UI. New item is hidden. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, I definitely think that's true. Do I have that written down? Yeah. This needs to be clearer that it's a skill that you have. Maybe a border, but in such a way that it doesn't look like you can press it. So you're just listening to the stream and not watching? Oh yeah, totally fine. And I think all game developers have a different definition of what they think is sort of releasable. Like some people will just work in, like they would have made the town to begin with, because if it's going to show in the game, why not have it? And other people would have just literally put in the item displays and just called it quits after that. I did something kind of in the middle where it almost makes you wonder, why did I even add any of that stuff if the players aren't going to walk on it? It was to give you more of an idea of what the game will eventually look like. Just got the bug where battles don't end again. Life, do you have a ton of workers? Can you take a picture of it? Because yeah, I'm wondering why that's happening. Okay, so prototyping manually moving items. Prototyping having adventurers act as workers. Prototype having adventurers act as workers. So this is going to be checkpoint 2. I'm going to say stop, or like remove the hire worker button when adventurers aren't in battle. I guess when hiring an adventurer, show it in the town and have it function as a worker. When adventurers aren't in battle, or enter a battle, move them from the town. They no longer act as a worker. Yeah. This time I only have 3 sent a screenshot in Discord. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. I wonder how that could even happen. Are you doing anything that you think might be unusual? Like starting battles really fast or something? I heard too many, it's chaos. Yeah, I should really put a limit on that. I don't know how much I should even modify checkpoint number 1. because I don't want to spend a lot of time changing things about it and then not moving forward with new code. And workers will probably just delete the button altogether for hiring workers. Yeah. Hey, Blue Horse. And thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but it is playable if you want to check it out. Let's see. So is this listed here? I probably just added it correctly. Where did I put it? Oh no. I can't find it. Adventurer. Wait, there it is. Why did I not see it though? Number 111. Oh, it's 3 up for some reason. Huh, weird. Toward the shop with her item, and then spot gets taken and they all turn around. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of little things that are going to change with that. Like I said, one is that instead of having workers, you will have one worker, and then your adventurers will act as workers when they're in town. I think that makes the most sense. And then, so that'll mean that you're not hiring workers, and there's going to be a natural limit to how many adventurers you get. And that limit is probably going to be somewhere on the order of like 10 to 15. What do you say the game current length from start to finish? Probably about 10 to 30 minutes. So not very long. And what our aim is probably to have like 5 to 10 hours, something like that. I could definitely see in checkpoint number 2 it being somewhere in the 1 to 2 hour range, so that, you know, we're slowly building it up. Does this fit with everyone's expectations, by the way, the people who played the game? Do you feel like it was about 10 to 30 minutes of gameplay? I know some people played it for about an hour and try to max everything out, but like, I'd say this is probably a pretty reasonable average. I want my Skelly to have a house that I can swag out with cool items. Yeah, I think there do need to be some like signs of wealth in the game. A bit more for the workers, but yeah, 10 minutes is way too little. 30 is about right. Depends on what you mean, the 3 adventures. Just like how long you kind of had fun playing and felt like you were still progressing. Something like that. Maxed on everything except storeroom spots after 30 minutes. 10 to 30 seems good for focus or semi-focus. Played for about 45 minutes. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, interesting. Did Adam Learns or whatever it was called die? Like, did you make any money on it? I've never asked, but also never heard what happened after you left me alone in this world for some time. So the short story is 2020, I started Adam Learns because I had stopped working on Botland. Botland wasn't super successful. And I think Adam Learns was doing pretty well. I ended up making 3 courses. And sales were good considering that I had no presence. No one ever knew me as an instructor or anything. But then I very quickly pivoted into going and working at Google. And now 3 years later, there are no new courses. I have one planned, but it'll probably be launching in 2025 at this point. And that one's going to be on organization. It's going to be a mega course on everything you ever want to stay organized. So yeah, it's not like I made a ton of money or anything. I couldn't have sustained myself off of it, but I think it was promising. And I just, in doing what I'm doing this year, is more about what do I want to do, not what do I have to do. Yeah. Had fun until I started to have many workers, had no real goal. Yeah. There's not much to do in the game. Well, take care of life. Thank you for the feedback. Thanks for the screenshots. Thanks for trying out the game. Are the shop upgrades supposed to not go up after 15? I'm not totally sure what you're asking, but the cost is supposed to be 10 and then 15 and then 15 and then 15, so on and so forth. And then the amount is you can only have 10 maximum. And then there's a bug where you can still purchase, but you just get nothing. So the bug will definitely get fixed. But the other 2 things, I don't know how that's going to be in the final game. Probably the cost will change from like 10 to 100 to 1,000 to something like that. Okay, so we got those. Make customers and workers smarter. That wasn't quite this. I don't know if I have anything about this task. No, I don't think I do have anything about this task. Okay, let's add one. Make customers and workers smarter. They shouldn't all target the same item display. They shouldn't all wander for exactly 2 seconds. Or if they do, they should find a new one pretty much immediately. Yeah, those couple of things. Yeah, milestone, checkpoint 2. Do I plan to add achievements? Yes. I don't know what they'll be yet, though. Yeah, and I'll write this here. Consider allowing a worker to put something back down in storage or even swap an item. Also consider maybe allowing you to manually click an item that a worker has. Oh, one of the things I kind of wonder about is what happens if your adventurer is holding an item and you want it to go into an instance? They could just drop the item in town. I think that's good. I don't think they should take the item with you. You could wait for them. Okay, so question. Suppose we make adventurers act as workers. So now an adventurer is restocking an item and you want them to battle. Option number 1, wait for them to restock the item. Option number 2, have them take the item with them into battle and restock it after the battle. Option number 3, have them drop the item on the ground. Is there anything else that could be done? Yeah, which of these is best? I think I think I like option number 2. Yeah. Has someone suggested item rarity? Yeah. We'll probably end up doing that. I think unique, legendary. Well, coincidentally, 2 people on 2 different platforms. Legendary, unique items that you have to get with specific adventure, skill, dungeon battles, or somehow would be cool. Could be a basis for achievement points or achievements or story progression. Having specific combinations of stuff to get a legendary item. I'm not sold on that. There's this old game, well, not old game, old mod for a game. StarCraft had some special map called like Golems or something. And the way this worked, I'm probably going to be misremembering a lot of this, but there were these beacons and you had units you could move onto the beacons. And so just imagine a bunch of slots. And at any point, you could choose to fill some of them up. So like you fill up this one and you fill up this one. And by doing this combination of stuff, you end up getting whatever, let's just say a warrior. And by doing like this combination of stuff, you get a mage. And so you had to experiment with essentially figuring out where do I put these units onto these beacons such that I get the stuff that I want. And then you had to memorize which ones gave you what. That's sort of what that legendary item idea reminds me of. Unless the game is going to tell you, hey, go into a battle with a mage with maxed out burn, then I think it's something that we should just expose a different way. So I think legendary items would be kind of cool. But yeah, I think they should probably just be like a rare drop, or maybe you have a increase the item rarity of stuff that can drop. In fact, I should write that down as an idea. Yeah, quests. Make higher rarity items drop. Maybe they can't drop at all until you do this quest. You really like the game so far? Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, please do. Anyone who's played the game, please do click the provide feedback button. It'll open up a Google form and just go through the questions. They're all pretty fast. You know, most of them are multiple choice. And then the last one, you don't have to fill out if you don't want to. And you can share anything you want. This could be, you know, you could write a little novel in here about here's the stuff I liked, here's what I didn't like, here are the bugs I found, here's what I would change, here's how I feel about turtles. These are all things you can write about in there. Be a story thing where you specifically are told how to do the challenge, not brute forcing. Yeah. But even as a story thing, I think we could surface it slightly different. Maybe it could be a quest where it's like, go find the legendary item in the cave, and now the cave can drop it, and you don't necessarily need a certain loadout. Scrolling to zoom isn't working. Yeah, specifically for you or people like you, I made plus and minus work to zoom. So you should still be able to zoom that way, but it might be a little weird because I think it controls the battles as well. But I think if you click first and then hit plus, I think it'll only zoom the world, maybe. I'm not totally sure. Okay, so then the last thing is this. Add mods for class-defining passives. Let's put that in. Add mods for class-defining passive abilities. So the active abilities have mods. The class-defining passive abilities could also have mods. This should probably be in checkpoint 3. Yeah. Okay, so I think we've written all of this stuff down. Now we need to go through all the things in checkpoint number 1 and bump these. Are we going to get music done by checkpoint 2? I have no idea. I don't even know if we're going to do this. I'm just going to add this whenever. Yeah. All right, add in music. This should probably be done by beta at the very least. Add in proper customer graphics. This needs to be checkpoint 2. Refactor where item displays are stored. This is kind of a whenever task. Add the guild. I don't even know if we're going to have the guild anymore. This was how you were supposed to be able to level up adventurers. Oh, wait, we never wrote that down about what if you used items to level up adventurers. I want to toy with that idea some more. I want to think of how that would work. Design how it would look to level up adventurers using items instead of the guild. Yeah, so I'll write this here maybe at the top. I don't know if this is a task worth doing. It depends on what we decide with leveling up adventurers. Yeah, so save that. Put that in checkpoint 2, I guess. Oh, thanks, Korax. Thanks for the resub. Thanks for spending your Prime sub on me. And then this, we're going to have to bump into checkpoint 2 because now we're beyond checkpoint 1. Cool, cool, cool. And thank you, Nox, for providing feedback. I will look through all the feedback. I wrote it down as homework for myself. This is done now. Let's see how much feedback we got. Edit. All right, 25 responses. Yeah, I think that's more than enough for what we needed here. And yeah, most of the people found the game fun. There are 3 people who were neutral on it, which is totally fine. It's not like it would be a problem if there were people who were like, I hate this game. It's not like it's going to be fun for everybody. And yeah, almost everybody found out about it through me. The theory and the reason why I ask this question is I think this probably biases people to like the game more if you found out through me, because you know me, you're watching me, you might like what I'm doing. More people have said that they would want to play on mobile as well. And then, yeah, I can't scroll down too far because people might have included email addresses. All right, I think, what time is it? Yeah, we're like way past when I should have stopped. It's been 3 hours and 15 minutes of streaming. I think this was a great success on so many levels. Having people play, having them like the game, being able to develop this, all of what you saw in pretty much a month. I mean, sure, there was design behind it and there was prototyping before that, but we started a fresh code base exactly 1 month ago, and there were 0 lines of code in it. So, yeah, success on many fronts. And I'm looking forward to the other checkpoints. Again, general schedule for those who haven't heard. This Wednesday, I'm going to be on vacation. I'm going to be able to type vacation for about 3 weeks. And then when we get back, after is going to be working on checkpoint number 2. So it's just going to be features and addressing feedback, bug fixes. How do we feel about this? I really should have capped this. I really should have been like, you can only have 30 workers. You don't need more than 30. Perfectly smooth, really? Wow. Well, that's good news. Yeah, that's really good news. Can't find anything? Yeah, what I think we should do, Darkstorm, here's the easiest way that we can find it. And this is where I would suggest doing things. So in battle system, and this is what I would do for this, there is battle ended right here. And all you need to do is put a Boolean in here, like already called equals true. And up here you say if already called, then, and yeah, I typed that wrong, but then just set a breakpoint on this. And that'll tell you exactly what the problem is. So yeah, it should be pretty easy to find. All right, I'm gonna go take my lunch break. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for playing. Again, if you haven't provided feedback yet, feel free to click the button in the game. And I'll be back in about an hour. And then we're gonna just keep doing some kind of like high-level planning stuff. It's not a development day mostly. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thanks for playing. See you all later.